It's not bad internet, it's just old pipes. You gotta warm them up first, eh? Yeah.
Well, congratulations, you are the least likely to have sex.
Francesi in merda! Entro sull'obiettivo che sono un padrone, passo sulle spalle senza alcuna recessione. E nel sostegno di aggressione, qualcuno pensa recessione, tiro zero, io rispondo per passione, vali zero, rispondo per passione, vali zero. Sì che non sia normale, come i bossoli, tesi come disse Montale, pascoli.
Starframe made this motherfucking meat.
Senza alcuna recessione. Sul segno di aggressione, qualcuno pensa recessione, tiro zero, io rispondo per passione, vali zero, rispondo per passione, vali zero.
No way. Little bro is actually streaming with tinfoil internet connection. Connection fading in a hole now. Cut.
Oh! XQC. Oh, cool. Let's use up my limited bandwidth and watch streams with it. Hell yes. He's actually on the God Seed. Okay, but is he using those cheat programs still? The trainers? Because that's hella unethical.
Wait, 0 degrees. Where am I going in?
This isn't the run. Wait, why are you guys making me watch this? There's no shot this is the run.
I can't see anything, man. Like, this is so scuffed.
Top right, he is still using the cheater trainers. How are you getting internet? I bought some dog shit fucking hotspot spot that apparently if you have it on Ethernet and you've got it charging at the same time, apparently it drains more battery than it charges.
It's a high roller.
So my battery died during Tombs of Scoria based.
What the fuck is it then?
How long do you have until it dies again? I don't know, I bought 60 gigs of data. I'm streaming at 4 megabits per second. 4 megabits per second is half a megabyte per second. So in 60 seconds, in 1 minute, that's 30 megabytes in a minute.
Oh,
3 times 6 is... Is it 1.8 gigabytes an hour? Is that right? Why am I doing this in my fucking head? 4 megabits a second times 60 is a minute times 60 is an hour divided by 8 is from bits to bytes. 1.8 gigabytes an hour. So 60 divided by 18. What did I just divide? Oh no, 33 hours. I've got about 33 hours of stream time, I think. Approximately. Well, less than that because of any other internet I consume. Can't you have it plugged in to charge now though? Yeah, I did. It's at 100% now. I charged it. When will you get better internet? Good fucking question, dude. Who the fuck knows? Did we ever... did we ever switch to using megabits and kilobits, or was that just like some fucking cringe shit that lasted for like 1 year?
Whoa, where am I going? Whoa, wait, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? I'm going at what?
What's going on with the shelves back there? Oh, I don't
90?
know. It's my bookshelf. Megabytes and kilobytes? Yeah, I don't know. Technically, we do use megabytes and kilobytes. We just call them the old shit. Do we? I don't think we do. I don't know, actually. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know.
The worst biome for throws is it's been done on a double brick as well. They're just cringe.
Because like if you buy like a 500 gigabyte hard drive, or not today, if you buy like a 1 terabyte hard drive and you format it, isn't the reason why you lose so many bytes is because of the 1024 conversion? Or am I crazy? Full screen so we can see the room. I don't know if my lighting is final yet.
Right?
I'm still triggered.
It's over anyway.
Yeah, it is over. I don't know why you guys want me to turn this on. I have a lot of depth in this shot, which is nice. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the bookshelf. I thought about hanging my shotgun on the wall, but I need to buy like a thing for it. I think the depth into the background is probably good. I don't know if I want the blinds down or up on the mirror. Reflection is kind of okay. You can't see any of the city lights outside. I think it's okay. Wow, Christopher, welcome to the Tier 5 Affordability Club. You can't have guns on YouTube, right? You can't like play with guns on YouTube. If you've got like a gun in the background, they're not gonna ban you for it. I just say it's a replica. You think your phone plan will let you hotspot all 60 gigabytes? It's not a phone plan, it's a hotspot. Did you say LTG got banned? Yep. You've been to La Careta? No, I have not. I don't know what the fuck that is. Careta. I can't roll my R's for shit. Are you near South Point? Probably. In the southern part of Miami Beach, so. La Careta is a Cuban restaurant in Miami. Cuban food sucks, okay? I don't care. I'm pretty sure Mexican food is like the best of like the, you shouldn't really say South American, but Mexican food is just so fucking good. It's just so good. Give me some fucking enchiladas, some fucking tacos, hard or soft, whatever the fuck. Give me big burritos, fucking everything. I just love Mexican food. Cubans have like, we have like black beans and like, and pork and rice and I don't know, plantains, the fucking chip things that people eat. I don't care, fuck it. All right, listen. You can get unlimited hotspot by changing your PC's packet TTL to 65. I have a 12 gigabyte hot. What? Your PC's packet TTL. I don't even know what that means. Packet TTL. Time to live or hop limit is maximum limits a lifespan or lifetime of data in a computer. Okay. Destiny is right-handed. He really fell off then. What? I have 60 gigabytes of data streaming, 4 megabits per second. How long can I keep streaming till my data runs out? To carry the amount of time you can stream at a given rate, you use the following formula. Time equals data divided by blah, blah, blah. Plenty of values provided, you get 60 gigabytes divided by 4 megabits per second times 60. Nice. It like loses the gigabyte. It like drops its units over here on the left side. Base calculator. You're gonna cover the OTK thing? I don't think I can do anything serious right now. If I start doing anything serious, my internet starts lagging or dropping. I'm gonna start like throwing shit out of my balcony. Bypassing Verizon's unlimited plans hotspot, switch tethering, 600 GB. If your phone does not have any software blocks on tethering, there's much easier to switch possible. Tech tethering by checking the TTL of IP. Oh, I was actually going to ask a question like this. There must be a way. There must be a way to trick a phone's data into like how the fuck does the phone, or rather, how does the tower know if the phone is making internet requests or the phone is like hotspotting internet requests? There's got to be some identifying information in. I don't know how integrated the like data stream and shit is into the hardware of the phone, but maybe it has to do with this shit. Packets details the maximum number of hops it may take before it expires. It is decremented. Oh my god! Hold on, shit! I'm playing my stream over here on this. Not good. Okay. How's the apartment otherwise? I mean, it's a nice apartment. It's the nicest apartment I've ever lived in, but who the fuck cares if I don't have internet? It's literally the only thing that I It's the only thing that I need, and it's the only thing I don't have. Oh, shit. This is cute. Interesting. If I was in less of a bad mood, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I don't really want to talk about it while I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a super bad mood. I'm gonna be for probably a week or two. One thing that we're working on a lot next year is you guys need to learn how to disagree with somebody without being like massive fucking hyper cunts about it. Like, I think Dylan did a stream that was like pretty cringe, and I think you guys could have made a post being like, oh, Dylan was like pretty cringe in here, we disagree, but you guys are never capable of doing that. Whenever somebody does anything wrong, the thread that goes up is like, so anyway, this is why I think Dylan is a cum-guzzling coward as fuck. And ever since the Prime Kai fake rape allegations, he's just been a fucking war tourist, loser, fucking piece of shit, fucking loser, fuck, die. And it's like, you guys have no chill. You guys can't just like pump the brakes and like chill. Like, and like, again, it's okay to like, oh, Dylan made a dumb comment or somebody made a dumb comment, but you guys don't have to go so fucking hard. Holy shit. Do you hire a maid to clean your place, or do you do it yourself? No, I do it myself. I don't make much of a mess. I don't need like a...
Dylan Burns is the virtue signaling white...
Oh, Jesus. Thought you said 2023 was going to be the year of being less charitable. No, no, it's not. We got an angle for 2023. Sneakers' 7-year age gap is predatory.
Not taking you seriously. You gotta dump. You gotta stop wasting your time. Bro, these old ass predators. The guy's 7 years older than you, creeping on you. That's crazy.
Is that considered a predator?
It's not. He's not a predator, but it's like, bro, like get somebody your own age. You know, somebody like 3 years.
Oh, I mean, he's probably threatened by like older guys. I think if I was a younger guy, I'd feel like super threatened by older guys, like swooping up my girls, right? Any update on the Kethel stuff? I might tweet something out about that later. She said she was going to talk to her lawyer. I know she received the cease and desist on... Let's see... She acknowledged receipt of the cease and desist on the 2nd. December 2nd, so it was 3 weeks ago. I don't know how long I'll let her float on that until I move to lawsuit. Or, yeah, we'll see. Are you in communication behind the scene? Nope. She just said that her response to my lawyer was, I've received this letter. I'm currently seeking the advice of legal counsel. I'll get back to you shortly. But it's been like 3 weeks, so I don't know what... Is Destiny Darko your Twitter account or someone else's? Somebody that thinks very, very similar to me. Why sue her? I don't want to. I just want her to make a public retraction of the statements that she's made so that I can take those retractions and go to any journalists that have published defamatory claims about me and say, hey, look at this. She retracted this. I need you to retract it now. I need retractions because like... it was like, it's okay when there's like, when stuff is like people talking shit on Twitter and people being defamatory or whatever on Kiwi Farms, like I don't care about that shit. It's whatever. It's all internet memes. But the issue with Keffels is the shit that she was saying, like her friends were trying to get, one, some of it got published in mainstream media articles. And then two, people were trying to use that to like vandalize my Wikipedia article. I don't want people to Google me and see like Washington Post stories mentioning me hate rating people. shit like that. That's not acceptable. Finding it on like Twitter accounts is whatever, fuck them. But like mainstream media posts with that type of negativity about me, absolutely not. Didn't you have trouble finding a law firm that represented you for the Aiden Paladin stuff? Would a firm take this? The Aiden Paladin stuff was different because I just wanted to destroy her life. I didn't care about the validity of the suit. I wanted to destroy her life. That was different. And the law firm that I contacted for that was really uncomfortable with that because they felt like she wasn't like mentally stable enough. That it was just not something they were interested in. I was super blunt with the law firm too. I was like, I don't care what you guys is like. I'll pay the retainer, I'll pay the court costs or whatever. I just want to like ruin this person's life. And they were like, well, we're not really comfortable with that. And I was like, oh, okay. But with this, my claims are like much stronger, right? I sent them a whole bunch of evidence to review. I picked the 4 strongest defamatory claims that she made, one of which she like clearly contradicted publicly. And then I illustrated the articles. This is where the defamatory claims are published, like, and these are where they exist on the internet. And this is what she said. This is what she said. What she said she lied. Here's the contradiction. And so there's just like 4 things I sent. I think I made 4 requests where it's like, I need you to like publicly retract these things. One was that like, I think, what were they? One was me ever making 41% jokes. I've never done that in my life. Making transphobic jokes. One was calling her a rapist. Never did that ever. Another was saying that I directed a hate raid. Never did that ever. And the other one was saying I had a really close and friendly relationship with the owner of Kiwi Farms. That's also not true. And she publicly admitted that she was lying on that one. But I think those are the 4 things that I want her to like make a public statement saying, hey, please, or hey, I said these things about Stephen Bonnell. They weren't true, or I was, misunderstanding at the time, and blah, blah, blah. I just need like that public statement. Isn't this new lawyer down for ruining Kevin's? No, it's not about ruining anybody. This isn't like a ruining thing. This is like I have like an actual explicitly stated goal that like has a legitimate purpose that I need like some response on. Like that's like the goal. If she publicly retracts what she said, do you think those writers will also retract their statements in the article? Maybe. I'll email the writers, and then I'll say like, hey, can you guys like amend this or add a note here? And hopefully with a statement from her, they would do that. What happens if she makes those statements publicly before the lawsuit happens? Does it just go away? Well, there's no lawsuit right now. It's just a cease and desist with a request for retraction. So right now there's nothing. But if she doesn't do it, or she takes her time responding, or she doesn't respond or whatever, then we serve her papers for, what is it, an arraignment? I don't know what the first part of a lawsuit is, where the judge decides they like whether there's any merit to the case or some shit. I don't know how civil law, I don't know how any of that shit works in Canada, but my lawyer does. Tell us a little bit about the serious stuff you're talking about. Give me a crumb of content after this Omega drought. Something that I've done really, 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 really well is I think I understand a lot of different points of view. I'm really good at figuring out why people think the things they do, relating to them on an emotional level, making them feel understood and heard. I think that's something I've done exceedingly well this past year, especially. Something I want to do more, though, is I think I've done a little bit too much understanding, and I need to figure out a way to do a little bit more pushing. So, like, from now on, like, I'll do my best to understand, but then I need them to understand my point of view, too. That's not something I usually try to do. Usually I step inside somebody else's bubble, and I try to make them understand that I understand them. Like, okay, I get your concerns, blah, 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 blah. But now I need to, like, once I'm in there, I need to invite them into my space. Like, hey, like, I need you to understand this side. And that's something I haven't done very much this past year, but that's kind of like my goal. It's kind of goes along with the, it goes along a little bit with the statement I made before about every time I get invited to these like lay epic centrist podcasts, we always talk about how cool it is to have challenging conversations, but we never actually have any challenging conversations. So my goal is to start having more challenging conversations. Also, once I'm done with Factorio, I've gotten a little bit better at this, but I'm going to continue to ramp up. Like, engagement with literature is really important, and we need to be doing that way, way, way more. I'm trying to do this on stream now every time I say something, but like, I don't ever want to say anymore. This is something I'm trying to eliminate from my vocabulary. Studies say, or it's been studied and this is the thing. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to say, this study, that was this study by this person published in this journal. That's like my goal. I should be able to do that from things. I think you sound way more authoritative. It means you're familiar with the individual studies. At the very least, you've done like a quick sweep of the methodology and you've read the abstract and conclusion, just so you have like a general rough idea of what the study is about. I think abstract, methodology, depending on what you're talking about, and then conclusion, I think are three good things to have. And then like what's the journal it's published in, who's the author or authors. Being able to do stuff like that and have those ready to rattle off, I think is really, really, really powerful. And it helps me make sure that there's a lot of veracity to my claims as well. Because there's a lot of things sometimes where I say like, oh, studies say. And there's a lot of things that people don't know when it comes to like, I've said this before, a lot of people don't know, a lot of people think there's a lot of research out there, and there's not that much research out there. So like, for instance, when people always say like, oh, like there's all these studies on how hard it is, for instance, for black people to get jobs based on their names. No, that's not true. There's like one study. It was one big study, black employment names, less likely callback. I think it was this in like 2003. But this was like, there was one really big study. That showed this. But people always say, every time people refer to like things, they always just say study show. And generally for a lot of these issues, there's only going to be like one or two big landmark studies outside of like medicine and stuff, right? That people are going to be talking about. So it's good to know them, to be able to cite them, to be able to know what you're talking about. I think is,
Age bracket, you know? Yeah. Not taking you seriously. You gotta dump. You gotta stop wasting your time. Bro, these old ass predators. The guy's 7.
But when it comes to studies, most people have zero understanding of statistics. You think understanding statistics would help your claims? I think you just have to have better analogies. You got to work on better analogies. Some analogies that I've come up with are like killer analogies. That's like once you lay it out, it's like holy fuck. Obviously, I'm right, and you sound so dumb. And other analogies are a little bit more convoluted, and it doesn't communicate the message as well. I think it's just that's an entirely separate skill of communication, where it's like, okay, I have this relatively complicated like thing, and now I need to find a way to explain, like I have to explain this thing. I need to do this year. I need to take a stats class. I have to be able to take I need to take a stats class. I need to take a stats class. I need to have like a better statistical understanding of like what does it mean to like rejecting a null hypothesis, for instance. Like what does it mean when you've got a 95% confidence interval where the null hypothesis is included in that confidence interval, meaning your study hasn't like actually demonstrated, like stuff like this. Like I have like a weak understanding of it, but not very thorough. I just have to do a stats class. I was really good about taking random classes a long time ago. Like I took like a couple econ, like audiobook college courses, like fucking 6-7 years ago. I did that Stanford one on all the race shit. I need to do a stats class. I need to do I have to do a stats class. Don't worry, most scientists have a weak understanding of the statistics too. Yeah, but it's good to know them, and you have to be so much smarter than the people that spread conspiracy theories. You have to know so much stuff. The burden of proof is so high. Especially with like COVID shit. Oh my God, you have to know so much shit. What's the difference between absolute risk versus like relative risk? Like all these different things. I'm sure, but again, I think like taking like a stats class would help you. Like, yeah. Like, does it matter, for instance, if something is statistically significant? Like, that's like a stats term, and most people don't know what that means, right? Like, statistically significant, there's a math definition. I think, doesn't statistically significant just means there's a math thing? I don't know what it means. It's like 95% confidence interval with like a difference from your main value or something. But basically like, so like, let's say that you measure two groups of people, and you can say that like, oh, there's a statistically significant difference in IQ between group A and group B. When people hear statistically significant, they think, wow, there must be a big difference. But that's not true. It just means that there is a difference with a high confidence interval. So for instance, I think Sapolsky gave this in one of his Stanford lectures. There is a statistically significant increase in IQ from a second child to a first child. Like your second child will have a statistically significant higher IQ because it's like very, very, very high certainty, and then it's like it's well studied. But like the difference is like 1 point, right? So that can be statistically significant, but it's a small change, right? It's like effect size versus like confidence intervals and all this shit, or versus confidence. I think I should say, yeah. Like even I'm like use some of these terms incorrectly. I have to take that course. I have to, yeah. learning about effect sizes and stuff too. It's all basic shit. That helped me navigate a lot of the alternative medicine stuff. Like if you have, so like effect size, I think is the change, the amount of change that like one thing will have on like a variable, right? But if you've got like study after study after study after study after study, let's say that you've got a ton of studies and they show like 0 impact on something, and then you've got a landmark study that comes out, and it seems to be a really big study, and it's in contradiction to all of these things. If it's in contradiction to all of these things, but it's got like a very small effect size, that kind of makes sense. Like, okay, sure, these people weren't studying well enough, they missed it. But if something comes out that's in contradiction to a ton of published literature and it's got a huge effect size, then it's like, wait, how the fuck did everybody else miss this? There were a couple of the ivermectin studies that came out where it was like, oh my God, ivermectin had a 100% success rate in curing COVID-19, 100%. And I'm like, with an effect size that big, how did every other study miss it? No shot. That's insane. It's a huge effect size. There's no way that every other study completely missed that, right? Now, if a big study came out and it was like there's like a 2 to 3% like increase in survival or decrease in mortality or decrease in serious hospitalizations, it's like, okay, sure, smaller effect size, maybe other studies missed it, makes more sense, et cetera, like, stuff like that, yeah. But I'm a data analyst, and the average person is so unprepared to interpret data and visuals. Yeah, it's a lot of like inhuman work. You have to like contort your mind to figure out, like, it's just a very inhuman thing. I want to revisit my conversation with counterpoints. I consider counterpoints to be one of the most reasonable, like, conservative people in terms of like will have like good faith conversations and shit with you. So if I can't convince him that he's completely fucking wrong, then it's like, what the fuck is the chance of me convincing anybody? And I have to revisit. I've got to revisit that. I've got to revisit that conversation with him. I have to figure out how to show him why he's being fucking insane. I don't know. Also, we need to go over all the Twitter files. Once I have my internet thing back, I think we're just going to read every single tweet. I can't, I want there to be like a video for people to look up for like, oh, what was in the Twitter files? Oh, let's look at this guy talk about them. Where we just read every single tweet. It's like insane, dude. There will be like it'll be like an email where somebody is like, hey, FBI has compensated us for all of our work for fulfilling these requests or whatever. That'll be like the email, and it'll be super dry. And it's like, okay, I understand what's going on here. There's probably some government compensation where they're making huge requests on social media companies to pay for like employee time. Makes sense. But then like that'll be the email. But then like the Twitter headline will be like, government pays employees to remove partisan information from Twitter. And it's like, where the fuck did you get that? Are you just planning on nobody reading the fucking emails? That's not what that says at all. I might have actually retweeted exactly that email. Did I? Let me see if I can find this. Hold on. Oh yeah, it was this one. In the end, the FBI's influence campaign aimed at executives at news media, Twitter, and other social media companies worked. They censored and discredited the Hunter Biden laptop story. By December 2020, Baker and his colleagues even sent a note of thanks to the FBI for its work. Right? Holy shit. Okay, this is insane. So the implication here being high up people at Twitter were emailing the FBI thanking them for like helping them censor the Hunter Biden laptop story. Damn, that's like crazy. What does the email say? Thanks, Angela. I'll sign it as well. Would Scale please prepare a draft for Sean and me to look at? Also, we should be mindful that the letters could leak and will be subject to FOIA, so we should prepare them with that expectation in mind. Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Sean. Please let me know if you would like me to draft the letter. If you'd like to draft it, I really appreciate this. Hi, Angela. I'd be happy to. Sean. Sean and Jim. I hope all is well. The election has taken up our lives for most of this year, but certainly the past few months. Twitter is on the front line of protecting our users and the public at large from misinformation/disinformation campaigns that have potential to negatively affect the fair election process. What is not as widely known is the role Twitter played in helping the FBI track and identify violent actors who wanted to perpetrate acts of domestic terrorism at polling stations and ballot counting facilities. Obviously, this work is close hold, and we will never get public credit, but I would like to thank our FBI counterparts who worked so well with us this election cycle. We had an unprecedented national security and law enforcement response that was the result of a tight, well-coordinated partnership with the FBI that was based on trust. Would you both consider sending a letter of thanks for their willingness to partner on matters of election integrity and public safety? You know, all the work that was done related to China, Russia, and Iran, you might not be as familiar with the public safety work. Twitter provided information related to the kidnapping plots of the Michigan and Virginia governors, as well as the QAnon members who drove to ballot counting facilities after making public threats of violence. We had to work in real time with the FBI, and we were able to get them the necessary information that prevented harm. Here is a list of those who we work with. What the fuck does this have to do with an influence campaign censoring and discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story? And like, I don't think conservatives or nobody actually reads any of the source stuff in any of these tweets. This is why I kept pushing Connor, because I read the whole first Twitter Files thread when I was in Georgia, between sleeping and being sick and helping Cherry go and buy pizzas for my campusers, right? And I'm like, where the fuck are these people? Like, where are these people getting this information from? Because the tweet text doesn't agree with the sourced materials, right? Now, if I'm being insanely generous, you could extrapolate really, really, really hard from this and say, well, maybe the national security and law enforcement response in relation to China, Russia, and Iran, with the FBI a few years earlier warning that Russia might try some disinformation, maybe related to Hunter Biden, like maybe in a really roundabout way, that's all like connected. But like, that's not what this email says. And those links are non-existent. I have to like conjecture my way through every single link. And these are the leaks that we're getting from Twitter that are supposed to be the most damning leaks they have. Like, it's unbelievable to me, yeah. Destiny shills hard for Dems and the feds. I just laid out what I believe is rock solid argumentation. I just read you this email for the first time in your life because I know you've never read it before. If you disagree with something, feel free to point out how, but like my argumentation is solid. There are no flaws or holes. This email here, if you were in an English class, there's another thing too. I wish I could see how you guys like had written in class or in school, or when you guys were given when you guys are given like essays or assignments and shit. I'm curious how you justify or do arguments for. I'm curious how you guys would do like justification for arguments based on material you're given, because I feel like you guys wouldn't be able to write persuasive essays or argumentative essays given some prompt, or wouldn't be able to write an essay at all. Because again, if you were in a class, if you were in any like school class and you were to like be given an email and you're like, can you summarize the contents of this email? Like, for you to get credit on the assignment, the summary would be like, it seems like Twitter worked with they wanted to write a letter thanking the FBI for them working together. And it seems like the two big things that they were concerned with were acts of like domestic terrorism and stuff related to election integrity. That's what it seemed like. The two things that we're talking about in here. But if on your essay you were to write, this was about the Hunter Biden laptop story or censoring stuff to help conservatives, forgive them, they've waited a week to spam that. I'm IP banning. I would go through and do like 7-day bans. We're undoing. Dan talked to me about this a long time ago. Unironically, I'm massive nuking all of the misspeak things. The problem with the misspeak thing is that if it happens on even a little thing, chat just goes full fucking retard and will spam it for like 30 seconds and it nukes the chat conversation. So I'll just go through and I'd like manually like IP ban for like a month or whatever people do it. But yeah, we're done. We've moved past the misspeak age. That meme is officially retired. So if you do it anymore, you're getting at least a 1-day ban. And then if I have more time or if I'm more angry, I'll go through a 1,024-hour ban. Same with the GigaChat emote when somebody says something schizo. Yeah, maybe. We'll see about the GigaChat emote. It might be next on the chopping block. This Michael reporter is the climate change denial guy that you spoke with for a bit, right? Oh, is it? Oh, I think it is. Is it? I feel like I recognize the face. Okay, so this guy is just like an actual like fake news, like a liar. Like this guy's just a liar, zero integrity. Interesting. Gotcha. Did you get a new Twitter back yet, or the old one? I got I made a new one, but I don't know if Yeah, I don't think my old ones are ever getting unbanned. I've had a couple of people. I think I had 2 different people that are now, because now I actually have, I've got more friends that are closer to higher ups or people on like the trust and safety team, some ex-members of the Twitter. And apparently my account was flagged for, ban evading, making new accounts so that I could make violent threats on all of the new accounts that I created, which I'm 99% sure has never happened. I think that there was like, if I had to guess, the person at Twitter that didn't like me is like some hyper SJW, and every time they caught me ban evading a new account, they probably gave it like the violent threat ban or something, like the most extreme ban. That would be like that'd be my guess. But I have no idea. I wish I could see like the tweets. That would be like show me the tweets. Because like the only threats I ever made on Twitter, if I made any, would have been like on the Stephen Bunnell account towards like Cox, like fucking 7 years ago. But on every single new ban evaded account, it's always only gotten banned for ban evasion. I've never gotten banned ever on any of my new accounts for anything besides ban evasion. So yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of dumb. Are you able to get cable internet in the meantime while they work on the fiber? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. The wasn't your original ban a threat? So are they just saying with the original ban? Well, my original ban was the bomb threat to Cox, which was fair. But the I made that second account, Omni Destiny. That was an okayed account. That was like an officially okayed Twitter account. Like I made Omni Destiny, and then they banned that one for ban evasion, and then I filed an appeal. And I said like, oh, hey, I understand that I did this or blah, blah, blah. And maybe Twitter was a smaller company back then, not that small. And I was like, oh, but can I make a new Twitter account? And then they unbanned the Omni Destiny one. And that one operated like in the official like okayness of Twitter. That account was verified back when verification was like a real thing that meant something. The Omni Destiny account was a verified okay to operate account. I made a Mastodon account, but I don't know if... The most important thing for a social media account is it's nice to have a place to tweet out like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. Because it's hard for people to keep track of like when I'm doing shows or when I'm doing other things. It's nice to have an account to tweet stuff like that out. But I don't know if anybody uses like fucking Mastodon or anything, so I'm not sure. Was it the cross-burning tweet the first time? No, I've never gotten banned for the cross-burning tweet. Everybody seems to think that, but that just didn't happen. Like that Omni Destiny account got banned like a year or two after I think that cross-burning tweet happened. Like that wasn't the tweet that got the account banned. Do you think websites like Twitter shouldn't be able to permaban you without telling you exactly what tweets, posts got you banned because websites have the ability to nuke someone's online presence without knowing? Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's like a whole thing that goes into that. Can you post that stuff on Reddit? Maybe. It'd be kind of spammy. I don't know.
A 6-year battle to keep his record shielded from the same scrutiny that every president has faced since the 1970s.
Trump paid $0 in federal income taxes in 2020. Okay, I just don't. But didn't he pay like $1 million in income tax in like 2019? Isn't this a little bit of a misleading title for a video?
House Democrats have voted to... I just don't
want people to ever talk about taxes ever. I don't want people to ever talk about taxes ever. Because nobody actually knows what the problem with Trump taxes are. I don't even think I remember the issue. So let's see if I can remember this. The problem with Trump's taxes are that Trump used a weird loophole on a business that he's lost, and he wrote that business off as a total loss in a way that he probably shouldn't have been able to, and that like total loss allowed him to carry forward a loss that basically gave him like massive tax exemptions for year after year after year after year after year after year after year, and he probably shouldn't have been able to write that business off as like a total loss. I think. I would have to go back and look up exactly what this was. That's probably not, that was probably an abuse of that thing. And the, if that is the case, and I think he's been fighting with the IRS about that. I don't know if they're fighting right now currently or not. But if that is the case, then he would owe a fuck ton in back, taxes. How much were Trump Organization property values overstated by? Oh, this is a different, I don't care. This is a different issue. Trans woman pro Valorant player upset that with people who just claim to be trans playing in the woman category in Valorant. Uh-oh. I started taking hormone injection / applying for legal documents changes for the betterment of my life after being diagnosed with gender dysphoria by a medical professional myself, plus many other women / women identifying players are extremely concerned for the future. This is, I don't know if we can walk back from this cliff, but self-ID is the cancer of the trans community. It should have never been accepted. It should have never been pushed. It's not real trans people. It's not, and it has nothing to do with trans. Self-ID has nothing to do with trans. It's a totally different esoteric aesthetic concept. Like, it may as well be like the fashion shit that you have. You should believe that, what is self-ID? Self-ID is the logical fallacy of saying I am a thing because I say I'm a thing. And it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of self-reporting to figure out what you are, and assuming that you're actually just self-reporting what you are. But that's not the same thing. It's hard for people to understand, but it's not the same thing. Like, I could say things like there's a difference between reporting symptoms to get an idea of what I am versus just saying what I am. But it's just been like such a. So when are you allowed to identify as trans? I don't like the terminology identify as. You are, right? You either are a trans person or you are not a trans person. You don't identify as whatever the fuck you want to identify with, and then everybody respects that. That's bullshit. It's just stupid. And it's been a blight on understanding the trans community and trans issues. Like, if you are trans, then you have your pronouns, you can do your transitioning or not, or whatever the fuck you want to do, but it's not something that you identify as. That's cringe. All of that terminology needs to be fucking jettisoned. It won't be, because we're probably going to continue to head in that direction, but it's just destroyed people's minds in terms of understanding like trans issues and everything related to trans shit. What is the level of proof required to be trans? I don't know. Talk to a fucking therapist. I don't know what tests or metrics you would design to figure out if somebody is truly trans or not, but wasn't the original idea with self-ID to not gatekeep the shit out of transness, giving people the benefit of the doubt because it's so identify people as a real identity? I don't care. It needs to be gatekept. There's a lot of gatekeeping that should happen. Being trans is a really big deal. It's a really huge part of your life. It could involve medical interventions. It could involve big social interventions. Like, there should be some gatekeeping. It's important to identify what that particular thing is and what it isn't. The idea that all gatekeeping is bad is just stupid. Right? Like, imagine like going to a clinic and being like, hey, I think I need heart surgery. Like, I had a heart attack. And it's like, are you gatekeeping like the types of surgery I need? Or are you like, yeah, of course. Can the same be said of self-identifying to who you are attracted to? Then this is the issue with the word identify, okay? There's a language game being played, okay? Identify can mean one of two things, and the online trans activists hide in the ambiguity of that. Identifying should just mean that you are stating a thing that you are, not becoming a thing, right? So for instance, I could identify myself as being 5'8", but there's an underlying reality. There's a fact of the matter that I am 5'8", and I'm stating what I am. When I identify as 5'8", I'm stating what I am. But I can't identify as 6'2", right? I can't become a thing because I say I'm a thing. I can't identify as being a 6 foot tall person because that's not true. The underlying fact of the matter is I'm not, right? When you identify as trans, it should be that you are making a statement about what you are, but you're not the thing because you say you are. You're just identifying what you are, right? I can make a lot of statements about myself. I can identify as Caucasian. I can identify as having slave owner grandparents, apparently. I can identify as having blue eyes. I can identify as owning a car. I can identify as like having an apartment. But these are statements that I'm just telling you what I am. I'm not becoming that thing because I say I am. But for a lot of the trans activist people online, the identify thing has become like, oh, well, I am whatever I say I am. Like, I am. I identify this, therefore I am. But that's just, yeah. Wouldn't the people that identify as trans say that they are trans? No. Even, like, listen to Demon Mommy's arguments from a year ago. I remember listening while I'm playing DSP, where she's arguing that, like, no, it doesn't matter if there's an underlying fact of the matter. The only thing that matters is self-ID. There is no underlying fact of the matter if somebody is trans or not. Why does this need fiber internet? I see no quality difference in the stream. Well, one, there is a huge quality difference. It's at 4 megabits per second instead of 16. Two, I'm not gonna be able to upload VODs for August. He's gonna get triggered. And three, I've got 60 gigabytes of internet before it shuts off. So, any thoughts or comments about Julian Assange? I don't like Julian. I don't like him. Fuck him. But if he got arrested for unfair shit, or if that rape stuff was made up, that sucks. But I don't know enough about the details of the story. I just don't like him. He hates my country. I don't like him. Fuck him. Are you gonna keep buying hotspots? Yeah, maybe. What do you think about trans women and non-physical competitions like women's chess or all women esports? Seems like the male puberty argument doesn't apply, yet the effect would be the same, e.g. Scarlet beating every other woman in female-only tournaments. Maybe, I don't know, that's a hard one. We need more Polgar sisters in the world. What's your necessary and sufficient requirements? Dysphoria, physically trying to appear as the desired gender via dress. I don't know, I don't think about it more, but some sort of dysphoria, yeah. There's a huge issue with ADHD too. All of a sudden, everyone has ADHD. I feel like there should just be a requirement to do drugs, and then you can see if you have ADHD, right? If that truly is how it works. I'm convinced I have ADHD now. Because when I did my, when I was in Georgia, a friend let me do 35 milligrams of their Adderall XR shit, and it was the chillest, calmest, most euphoric fucking day I've had in my entire life. I was so chill and so in the zone. And just fucking, like, all day. It was the nicest feeling ever. But I've heard that if your brain is, like, a little bit more normal, that if you do that much Adderall, you're gonna be, like, bouncing off the fucking walls with energy. Isn't that what happens to everybody that takes it? No, I think if a normal brain takes Adderall, I think you have a ton of fucking energy. That's why, like, people like Zerka and shit accuse me of, like, oh, he's on Addy, he's on Addy, he's on Addy. They accuse me of being on Adderall or amphetamines all the time. Because people that are on amphetamines, like, are super hyped up. But for me, it just chilled me out. I don't know if it made me focused, but I wasn't trying to like, I wasn't trying to work on anything. It just made me like, it just made me feel very, very, very calm and chill. Did you ever go down the whole DID system self-ID rabbit hole? No, I don't even think DID is real. I don't even believe in it as a real thing, so I didn't go down it at all because I don't care. I don't think it'll be in the DSM-6. Fuck it. Are you gonna go over the Sitch and Adam talk with Connor on the Twitter files? Maybe. It seems like you're mistaken. Why can't the truth maker for the statement is the belief, i.e. incorrigible beliefs? Well, incorrigible? I think it's incorrigible beliefs. Well, couldn't you still make like, what if I think my whole life, like, let's say I meet a bunch of other guys and they all say they're 6 feet tall, but they're actually 5'8", but they lie, and then I'm 5'8", but I say that, like, oh, I'm 6 feet tall. Like, I'm not lying when I say that, but I'm still wrong. Just because you self-ID incorrectly doesn't necessarily mean you're lying, but you could still be incorrect, right? There's a wind sound. Yeah, I don't know what I can do about that. It's just, I'm on, like, the fucking 90th floor of this apartment complex. There's wind. Didn't Erudite say there was pretty compelling evidence for the existence of DID? I don't remember if she said that or not. I'm pretty sure DID was based heavily on case study and it's research versus what? Therapeutic? Research versus whatever? Like, not the researchers, but the other people that see patients. You should set up a speed e-date with Annalicia and a bunch of black men. Great test for her. Nice. You will cover the Rich Campbell situation. Yeah, I probably will read over that. Yeah, that's a pretty yikesy. Oof, he stepped down immediately. That dude is super fucked up. Oh shit. Wait, hold on one second. I'm really curious what Demon Mama's answer to this question would be. Is it possible to think you're trans and be wrong? No, you don't have to be curious. They already said it's not possible. You cannot be wrong. Self-ID is always valid. Hold on. The wind is kind of spooky. What happened with the internet? Okay, here's what happened with the internet. I said that I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to move until I knew I had internet in my new apartment, because every single time I move apartments, there's always like stupid fucking autistic shit that goes on with like getting new internet. Every single fucking time. Every single time there's some stupid fucking shit that happens. Always, without fucking fail. There's always stupid fucking shit that happens. So for me to move here, first I checked the map, then I called AT&T and I asked them, is there fiber at this residence? At this fucking apartment complex, this address, this unit number. I called her and she said, yes. We have internet at that building. It is fiber, the 5G version. We can set you up with a tech, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Okay. Hang up on you. I don't care about you, AT&T. Fuck you. Then I called my building and I asked the lady here, who was like our leasing agent or whatever. I was like, hey, upstairs, internet, yes or no? And she's like, yes, it is wired for internet. The last residence there had internet. So it's wired. Okay, cool. So the ISP confirmed it. The apartment confirmed it. It'd be nice to have it set up before I'm here, but you know, fuck it. I can wait a couple days. I'll masturbate 20 times. I'll live. Okay. The issue was that when I moved in, the fiber shit from AT&T is new, and the old internet that they had was old. It's not the internet that I'm getting. So the problem is that as soon as I moved in, I scheduled my AT&T shit. They came out here on day one, and the guy went back there and he's like, hey, the hookup is not here for the internet. And I'm like, really? The hookup is not here for the internet? Did the last people does not have internet? Are you fucking serious? He opened one of the boxes and just nothing. Okay, cool. Fuck me, I guess. I'll message the apartment building and I'll see what's going on. So then I send a maintenance request to the office and I say, hey, apparently my apartment's not wired for internet. So the 5G fiber, no such thing. Fiber is a wired connection. 5G is wireless. 5 gigabit line, you fucking autistic piece of shit. Okay? It's a 5 gigabit line for fiber. Just say you were trolling, please. Okay? So the maintenance people come up, and then the guy comes up and he looks at the thing and he's like, oh, your AT&T tech fucked up. Okay? And then he opened a separate panel to the left. And he's like, look, all of the internet stuff is here to the left. The guy opened the box to the right. He was in the wrong box. That's why he didn't find anything. And it's like, okay, gotcha. 5G is not 5 gigabytes. Yeah, it is. It is for me, okay? My last line was 1G. This is 5G. Kill yourself in real life. So then I was like, okay, well, the next day I make another AT&T appointment. It's 2 days for a tech to come out. Wait 2 days. And then another tech guy comes out. And this guy, I don't know if they sound like the advanced level tech or what, but this guy sounds like he knows his shit. He comes in and he's like, okay, blah, 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 this all shit. Blah, blah. I was like, okay. He goes to the back and I'm like, hey, the last tech that was here, he said that the connection was missing, but look over here, the connection is here. You were in the wrong box. And then the guy was like, okay, So this box over here to the left was used by the other ISP. For AT&T, our stuff needs to be wired through here, and there's a cable that is missing here that we would wire your fiber through that needs to be connected to the electric room or the service room or whatever the fuck in your apartment complex. It needs to go like 5 floors up or down or some shit he said. But this on the right here, this part is missing. So I was like, oh, cool. So I called you up for a second time, and I wasted your time, and I wasted my time, and I still have no fucking internet. Awesome. So then I do another maintenance request for my apartment people, and then this was today, and then they came today, and they looked at it, and I'm like, I need a fucking cable here to the service room. And the guy's like, oh, we can't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? Can AT&T do that? And I'm like, well, no, they can't do that because they can't get into the building. But the AT&T guy that was here was like the conduit exists. Like it's already whatever. I don't know what the fuck a conduit is, but he's like, there's a conduit, so running the cable should be easy. I guess I don't know what the fuck that means. But he said he can't do it. The building people have to do it. I asked the maintenance people, and they're like, we can't do it. We have to contact like the owners of the building. So I don't know. So then so hopefully tomorrow they contact whoever can do it. Or I'll go bribe. I've got a few $100 bills. I'll go bribe everybody and figure out like who the fuck do I need to suck off around here, or who do I have to pay? I'll give you $100 if you can just like let an electric dude into this room to run a fucking cable, because apparently that's all I need to fucking do. But yeah, it's just Jesus fuck me in the ass, Christ. Holy shit. If conduit is just an empty pipe, then yeah, it sounds like what they need to do is they're gonna call out a guy to go upstairs with I don't know if they're gonna run fiber to a switch, or if they do like if the fiber just goes to the building and they do a coax. I don't know what DOCSIS 3, whatever the fuck. I don't know if DOCSIS can do. Can coax do 5 gigabit connections? I feel like it has to be a fiber line to the. It's got to be a. Oh no, I bet Cat 6 cables can actually. Wait. I don't know. Oh, it's 10 gig. Oh, they could probably run a Cat 6 cable from the service area to the wall, probably then, huh? But Cat 6 is 1 GB. Wait, what? Is the cat really playing the piano? No, he's not. That chord is way too big for the cat to play. Any advice on how to explain to people that stuff like this is not just stating facts?
42% of the political guests on Joe Rogan's podcast are Jewish. Why is this the case? If you exclude the hunters, the stand-up comedians, the MMA guys that Rogan has on his show, 42% of everyone else comes from a group which makes up only 2%.
Wait, hold on. He just changed that claim significantly in like 15 seconds.
42% of the political guests on Joe Rogan's podcast are Jewish. Why is this the case? If you exclude the hunters, the stand-up comedians, the MMA guys that Rogan has on his show, 42% of everyone else comes from a group which makes up only 2% of the US population. This video is going to be about examining that fact in a critical light and looking at the data that I gathered to arrive at that figure. But before we get started, I feel I have to say this as an introduction. A lot of you watching will have probably instinctively recoiled at the mere sound of this thought that I'm presenting to you. Oh my gosh, anti-Semitism. But I'm asking you to really consider what I'm presenting you and really consider where that feeling you're having is coming from. All that I'm doing is presenting you with a raw statistic and giving you the data that you can verify in the description below. I promise that I will refrain in this video from making any statements which could be deemed inflammatory or extrapolatory. This will be a purely factual discussion on a topic which I'm sure most people would never even want to bring up, but I think it's vitally important that we do. To me, the dangers of such extreme overrepresentation seem all too obvious. Even if we were to assume that such extreme overrepresentation happened completely by coincidence and there was no collusion at all involved, we should still be extremely concerned that the opinions of this one small ethnic group are being broadcast so far and wide and being represented as if they were majority opinion. Meanwhile, you have the real majority opinion being completely overshadowed, especially on Joe Rogan's podcast, which I think it's fair to say has a reputation for entertaining all different opinions from people of all different...
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Robbie, what's on your radar today?
Well, Brianna, Michael Schellenberger released more
Twitter files revealed the FBI paid $3.4 million bribe? I know he's not referring to the email where the FBI is compensating Twitter for them doing the, what were the name of the requests that they were filing? They're calling that a bribe? Can somebody link me the email that I know they're referring to? There's one email that I'm sure is being referred to. One tweet. Somebody link it in chat. We can read the tweet. If you can't self-ID as trans, can you self-ID with a particular religion or job title? You can't just self-ID as anything. No. You are a thing, but you can't just say you are and then you are. Here it is. Jim, FYI, in 2019, Scale instituted a reimbursement program for our legal process response from the FBI. Prior to the start of the program, Twitter chose not to collect under the statutory right of reimbursement for the time spent processing requests from the FBI. I'm happy to report that we have collected $3.4 million since October of 2019. This money is used by LP for things like the TTR and other law enforcement related projects, LE training, tooling, etc. So, without reading what Scale is, it sounds like what this is when the government makes a whole bunch of requests into your program, whether it's doing social media or I guess whatever else, I'm sure these guys will other things too, it sounds like they have an option to reimburse you for the time spent working those requests, which is probably fine, right? Like if the FBI is gonna make a bunch of requests to your company, like if I'm a business owner, I'm thinking like, hey, I'm not gonna have my people doing all this fucking work for free. Like if you want us to file these requests or if you want us to work on this shit for you, you're gonna need to reimburse us for the work. It's not a fucking bribe. I think that's a fair ask. And I don't think it's fair to call it a fucking bribe. Except if those provided a government entity obtaining the contents of communications records or other information or secular law, this title shall pay for the person or entity assembling or providing such information a fee for reimbursement for such costs as are reasonably necessary, which have been directly incurred in searching for. Oh, okay, cool. So this is literally part of like U.S. law. Cost reimbursement. What the fuck is this shit? Onboarding. Welcome your new members with onboarding. I don't know what the fuck this shit is. Wait, why am I... What? I don't... Oh, hello.
What's up, dude?
So I feel like what needs to happen is it sounds like a dude literally just needs to go up to that room, plug a fucking Cat 6 cable into some dumb box, and then like poke the wire through like a pre-made hole until it gets to my apartment. And it would take like 10 minutes. That's what it feels like needs to happen.
Okay, so can you hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. So that's what it sounds like based on what they're telling you. Okay, so what you have there actually is, so the box that you, can I talk about the picture?
Talk about what?
I don't know if that's it.
Yeah.
The picture that you sent me?
Yeah,
okay, so the box that you have on the right
I'm just kidding.
is all of your phone stuff. So like there's probably like 3 phone hookups in the apartment or anything, something that's like that. And that's what that splicing is. So if he's saying that there's a conduit that goes from that box to wherever your service maintenance room is, that might be true. And they might be able to bring a cable to your apartment. But the problem is that you don't have anything that's then going to take that and send it anywhere in your apartment. So your best case scenario is that they run from that room down to whatever closet or whatever this is in, and then you would have to like run a cable across the entire apartment.
Well, he's making it sound like on the right, he's making it sound like that the apartment is wired for internet, like my unit is, There's just not a cable that's coming from the, I think he called it the service room, down to here.
Yeah, it's there's generally like a closet that has like all the internet service provider stuff in it, but that's what I'm saying. So he's saying that you're wired for internet. He's talking about the fact that you have like the coax that's on that left-hand side.
Well, that's some shit that he says that's from another company. He says they can't touch any of that shit.
Yeah, so, but what he's talking about for, like, you're wired for internet is that, well, he could be talking about two different things. One, he could be talking about that the building itself, like I had told you
Wait, no, hold on, wait. I
was
had a decently in-depth conversation with this guy. So I
Okay.
asked him specifically, because he was the second one that came out, and as soon as he said, oh, the right wire's not here, I started getting triggered, and I poked him asking for what was going on. I think he pointed to that gray cable initially, and he said that this or whatever is not connected up to the fucking server room. That they're the service room, I think he called it, the electrical room. But he said that the apartment itself, like if you plug something into like an Ethernet jack, like in the apartment, that should go to this wall. But there's not like there's not a wire coming from the service room down here that was bringing internet basically. That's what he told me. Yeah.
Is there like another set of boxes that has like plates that have Ethernet jacks in it? Because that's how that will like be set up. If you do have ports to where he's saying that you can do that, generally you would have like a third box that would then have like hookups on it. That would have like a line side, and then you would connect all the different loads.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So what he's saying is that what you're saying is that what he's saying is impossible. Because right now, assuming I'm not a fucking retard, if a wire is ran down from that room, like a Cat6 cable, it's going to plug into the box. But how the fuck is the internet going to get from that box to all over my apartment? Because you're telling me there aren't hookups here for that to happen.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, even if they got a wire there, for one, that looks like Cat5, so you would be hindered by what the Cat5 can run, period.
Sure.
It could be Cat6, it's just hard to see, but that looks like an older Cat5 cabling.
Probably, yeah.
And especially it's spliced in a way that it's Cat5. So
Okay.
basically, that's what I was saying. Your best case scenario is that they put a switch up in whatever maintenance room that is, run a wire down to where you are, and then from there you have to run a wire external out of the wall to wherever it needs to go.
AT&T is not going to do that, right?
Well, that's the thing though, is like when you're dealing with like you're just on a lease, right? It's not like
Of
you're
course,
living in a
not a
condo,
condo, yeah.
or a condo place. Okay, so an apartment place is never gonna do that, man. And if they do, you're talking like 6 or 8 months down the road, you will finally get through all the hoops to jump through.
No,
and then
hold
they'll
on.
be like,
I don't agree. I don't agree. That's not possible. Because I have Ethernet jacks in my fucking apartment. So at the very least, there must be Cat5 cabling behind the walls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's possibly what's spliced on that right-hand side.
Mhm.
But the problem is that you're concerned about getting fiber internet, and that Cat5 is not going to do anything for you when it comes to...
Well, Cat5 does up to a gigabit per second, doesn't it?
That's Cat6.
What is Cat5? No, what is Cat5 limited to?
I can't remember. It's less than that.
Or don't they do like Cat5e or something?
Well, Cat5e is like Cat5... Yes, Cat5 Ethernet. That's it, and that one. Okay, so it's kind of hard to explain, but you would be able to run it. Okay. Depending on how they wired the apartments, they would have wired it to where the switch would go up in that maintenance room, and then from that maintenance room, they would connect to your line there that has your Ethernets on it, and that are all spliced right there. And that is probably what he might be talking about. But what's weird about what he's saying is that he's saying that you have to run a wire to your unit. And if you had to do that, that means that they either just completely dropped your unit's wire to begin with, and that you literally have no internet whatsoever coming from that room other than what that coax is. But if he's saying that he's going to run a wire down to you, then you have no power at that box to run the switch for that fiber. So it's kind of weird because he's like telling you one thing that would be like one setup, but then at the same time he's telling you a different setup. Like he's taking like 50-50 between the two different ways that you can do it. And I just feel like you're going to get dicked around over and over. Like they're going to keep punting it, and that's generally what service providers will do. They'll be like, well, we can't do anything until your apartment runs this wire for us, or somebody else runs the wire, and then they do that, and then they're like, well, now the other tech didn't tell you that you need an outlet down here. Like it, dude, I'm telling you, it goes like a million different directions, because generally that's kind of how these apartments do things. They say, oh, we're fiber
hold on, stop.
ready.
Wait, hold on. What is your what is your background?
I've been an electrician for 12 years.
Okay. I don't believe a lot of what you're saying. I don't think a lot of this is true. If it was the case, okay, so number one, I have Ethernet jacks on my walls. Unless the building like owner or like the original construction was literally like, let's go ahead and put a bunch of unwired troll outlets in the different rooms because that would be omega lols. No shot. At the very least, there's Cat 5 in these walls. There must be. They must be aware of something, number one. Number two, there is no way that as a building owner you would advertise fiber ready and then have tenant after tenant after tenant come into the place and not be able to get it, because two things. One, the tenants would all complain. I think people would get mad. And two, I feel like the ISPs would probably like bitch you out. Like if AT&T was getting calls from tenants saying like, hey, I'm trying to get like, I want to pay for the $180 5 gigabit fucking internet line here. My apartment can't do it. Like they're going to say, well, what the fuck? Why are they advertising themselves as fiber ready? Because I guarantee you that AT&T has probably paid money to install whatever infrastructure they need to deliver that internet to this apartment. So if AT&T is paid to have the highway set up to do 5 gigabit lines to this apartment, and the only lines they sell are like non-fiber lines because the apartment doesn't have it, that just sounds impossible to me, right? There's like so much fucked up shit there, no?
So you would think so, but I've done buildings where when they say it's fiber ready, it's basically that there's conduits ready for it.
Yes.
And that if AT&T wants to bring the infrastructure in, that they can. Now, the reason why what you're saying in a place that like is actually fiber ready and can bring it right there, right then, is that like your maintenance people wouldn't be questioning what it is that you're saying. They wouldn't have like, they wouldn't be like, oh, well, yeah, we might have to do this, or they wouldn't be like...
hold on. This is what I think is happening, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this progress, okay? Okay. When they say that the building is fiber ready, what my guess is that AT&T has guaranteed the infrastructure all the way up to the building, and then inside the building, there's probably a node, a server room, I don't know what the fuck you would call it. There's probably a part somewhere in this building where all of the fiber is coming from outside to some central point in the building. And that is how much AT&T has guaranteed, and that's quote unquote ready for fiber. But like the last mile, running like the drop from like that room to every unit is probably something that the apartment building does, because they're not going to run a drop probably to every single unit because every single person isn't going to get fiber. That's my guess. Right? So, but the problem is when you call maintenance are here to like fix like your refrigerator or like basic electrical wiring problems. But if I call for something more complicated that involves running wires through the building, the average maintenance guy probably has no fucking idea like what to do for that. That's like outside of the purview of what they do. That'd be my guess on that.
Well, and that's where sometimes what they do is so AT&T is going to have to bring infrastructure to a certain point, but sometimes that infrastructure is like a vault outside at the ground level of the apartments, you know, and then there's nothing in the building. Sometimes... Well,
I know there's something in this building because both techs referred to, there's a certain floor and they're like, you need to get a drop from X floor. Like, and they both came here and they both said the same floor. So they must know that it exists. Both techs know the floor that room is on. And they're saying that they need to run a drop from that room to my apartment is what they're saying.
Okay, so yeah. So then what I'm saying is that I think that your issue is going to be getting the apartment complex to run the wire.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to... Yeah, that's what I have to do, yeah. But maintenance won't do it. I have to contact like the fucking building owner or whatever the fuck who will actually like, work on the walls.
And that's why I was saying, like, your best bet is to just do, like, whether it's through, like, Spectrum or Comcast or Xfinity or whatever, your best bet is to just do that as a temporary, like, hold. Because you're really going to get, like, absolutely fucking hosed when it comes to, like, waiting for that wire. So if it is all ideally set up, and that could very well be, you know, wired to where they just have to run a wire. It connects to everything that's right there, and then it sends it out to the Ethernet jacks that are in your apartment. But that's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't put all your eggs in the basket of that coming in a.
I mean, I feel like I should be able to go down and bitch. My rent is fucking $5,000 a month, okay? I feel like I should be able to go down and complain as a new tenant or, like, break my lease. Like, I just signed a 23 fucking month lease. I didn't do that with the assumption that, like, they advertise fiber ready. Like, I'm only in this fucking unit because it's fiber. Like, there's no fucking way that they can, like, jerk me around and treat me like I'm some fucking, you know, homeless random
I mean,
dude.
there definitely is, because there's certain rights that you have as a tenant, and having fiber internet isn't one of those things. So they can tell you that it's all ready and stuff like that, and they can say, hey, I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna get to it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's gonna be anything that you're gonna get in like 2 weeks.
Well, tomorrow I'm going down to the leasing office and I'm gonna fucking bug him, because it sounds like, because the second guy that was here, I'm dragging this guy because he wants to scream at me for something. The guy that was here, he used those words. I didn't know what that was before, but I recognized it when you typed it. He said that the conduit already exists up to that service room, so that running the cable should be easy. It sounds to me like if the conduit exists, then it sounds like a simple thing. Like you would plug the Cat6 or the fiber cable maybe or whatever into that service room. You would run, it's only 2 floors that cable needs to run. It sounds like it would run really easily through the conduit, and then it would pop out here, and then once the cable's there, a normal tech should be able to come in and just like hook everything up. That's what it sounds like.
I don't think so. So
you don't think what? What part of that don't you think so?
Okay, can I fucking ask you a question really quick before I jump into something that might not be right?
Sure. Wait, do you want me to, real quick, what is your background on this?
Oh, I've been doing this shit for 5 years.
Like you're like a tech, or you're like an apartment owner, or what? Like, what have you been doing?
Tech, and then now I do network maintenance, which fucking means I'm in these buildings before they even get built.
Okay,
so,
can I? I'm gonna add you as a friend real quick. I know you, right? You're like Azza from a while ago, right?
Yeah, I've been in your
community for a long time. Yeah, I just make sure this one. Okay, I'm sending you a picture just so you can see the same thing that I sent this guy, so you can see the thing I'm looking for. Shut up.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a. All right. I hope he has the same reaction as me, because I feel.
No, you're totally off.
Uh-oh.
You're off, I'm pretty sure.
Oh shit! Here we go.
So you're gonna send me a picture of a panel, right?
No, I don't have a panel.
No.
This is what I have in my apartment.
So this is some bullshit old shit.
Yes.
Is your building new?
No, it's probably renovated.
Okay. So what your technician needs to do that works at AT&T is they're gonna run the fiber cable through the conduit. And I only say that because the building people that own the building, they're not gonna do that work because they don't know how to fiber splice, and they're likely to damage the cable. 100%.
Wait a second. You're telling me that in the service room you have to splice cables? It's not just a box you plug something into?
Yeah.
So when you have
especially
a spool
on the
of fiber
pre-wired
cable,
kind of stuff like that.
What I'm trying to say is when you have a spool of fiber cable, they don't have ends on them, right? So when you run them through a conduit from your unit, like let's say your unit's like 101, you run it from 101 to the first lockbox, and then you splice both connectors on each ends. My point is, your maintenance guy's not going to do that. It's going to be the provider.
Oh wait, but hold on. Are you talking about like some like incredibly basic splicing, like what you would do with like an electric cable?
No.
You just like get the, or are you talking about like some really complicated?
No. You need a tool that's worth like 10 grand. That it's like a literal glass fiber splicer. And anyway, so what you have in there is coax. What I assume is you see the splitter.
Wait, hold on, real quick. The left one, AT&T said that is not their equipment. They won't touch that. The right one is the one where they're. Oh, I'll just show this on stream. Fuck it, dogs me. I don't care.
Yeah, well, your unit just has coax in it. So
yes, but that's probably for another service provider. So I don't know who else runs.
The building was built with it. So we're disregarding that because that doesn't fucking matter here because you're not getting that service, right?
Yeah. Well, I might have to, but.
Yeah. And then what's in the right picture?
Yes.
You're saying that there's a plastic conduit. Conduit is like a pipe.
That's what the guy. Let me go look. Hold on. Let me go check. 1 second.
Okay. Fuck, I have to turn the stream on now.
So I'll just tell you what I think it is. So they basically have it set up for like somebody like Comcast to come in with just like a basic cable setup, and then you just run your Ethernet. That plate that's off of there is just like a plug plate that then sends it to the heads that are in the unit. Like for how old this looks for this setup, I do not imagine they ran a conduit.
Yeah,
I feel like
so-
whatever conduit is that he's talking about probably doesn't go to like his IDF closet or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You know,
I think this shit isn't even gonna be used. These two plates here. I'm pretty sure that like one of them's for phone and one of them's for coax, and these are old infrastructure pieces that were.
I mean,
put
he,
in the
he
building
says
when
that
it
it's
was built.
Ethernet, so that's what makes me think that it's just Cat5.
It's
that's
just Cat5,
been
yeah. That's
that's
Cat5
been spliced to
100%.
like RJ45 ends at the plates. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's where they
People were
probably
using
have
this
it
for
set
phone.
up for like Comcast, you know, to come in and they put in their modem real quick and then connect it to your line and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But it's not set up for. That's where like the fiber ready thing, like, dude, I always like cringe at whenever I hear that, because that's normally means that like the apartment didn't do 75% of the work.
You're almost there, but I don't think that's correct. So fiber ready, what it usually means is that the ISP comes into the building and pre-installs modems into the unit, or pre-installs like the fiber connector, so that way it's ready to go for your level 1 technician, right? That's what fiber ready means. They advertise it because it's easy to move people in and be like, hey, it's only gonna take like a day to fucking get your internet set up.
Oh, it does have. It looks like it has a Smurf tubing.
I sent
in
you
it.
both the pictures of the shit in the thing. Yeah.
I see it. So I don't think that conduit is what you're going to end up using to run your fiber cable. I bet you there's like another access point in your unit somewhere. Check in the closet. Like usually in the master closet is where it's going to be.
No, this is the master closet. This is the only box in the entire apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that conduit, probably what's going to end up happening is AT&T is going to need to run a fiber cable through that conduit to the lockbox, splice both connectors, and then connect it to their service. And their service is probably in the building. They just probably didn't get to this unit because somebody was living there
the
first.
service is in the building. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But he would still need a fiber switch ran down in his unit, and he doesn't have power that's there. What?
No. That
How's
goes
he
to
going to
the
go
modem.
from a fiber to? Yeah,
that goes to a modem.
Yeah, what powers the modem is what I'm saying.
A
He
fucking
doesn't have any
power
power
outlet.
there. He doesn't have power at the plate at
Yeah,
the
that's because
location.
the building sucks. The building's old.
That's what
They're-
where I'm telling him he's gonna like they're
fucking
gonna do
rip.
one part and then the next part is gonna be like, oh, and now you need this.
No,
and then
no.
Wait,
You
let me
get
see
an
if I have any
extension
power in that
cable.
closet. Hold on.
Yeah, you just get an extension cable and you plug the modem in and you set it on his fucking washing machine or whatever that is.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's gonna be
it's
some
gonna be
sort of
shitty.
like
It's gonna look shitty, but you know what? He's gonna get fiber like 5G internet through it. So, but honestly, what I think Destiny should do is call the other company and just set up coax for now, because that shit will take like a day to set up and then he's done.
Well, that's what I told him. I was like, if you have somebody like Comcast or something, they literally like at their stores will send you home with a self-install kit, and like you can just do it yourself, and you just like call the activation line, and
So
then you're
in-
done.
Yeah, so in those pictures, by the way, it's already hooked up. Like you can see the mocha filter, you can see the splitter, or
Wait, can they not? They can't run power. They can't do power through that conduit as well, or no?
No. They can't run.
No.
Yeah, they can't do it through the same thing. So that's where. Go
Destiny,
ahead. Man.
can I get you to like Google on Q panel, like on dash Q and then panel? Typically, they have these nice looking panels that have like a lot of room in them, and then they have a power outlet, and then in there, that's where your modem goes. They're made of plastic, and then they will like distribute Wi-Fi throughout the house pretty decently. And that's where your fiber connector will hook into a modem, and then you can plug your modem.
What does
in
this
there
have to
and,
do?
like,
Why are
set
you
it
telling
up.
me? Do you want to let me Google other random like fucking devices, or?
No. I'm just saying that like typically newer buildings, that's how they're set up.
Yeah,
You
I'm
have
not
an
in a newer
older
building. I see that. Yes.
Yeah, so what's going to end up happening is you need to find like whatever closest power outlet that you have, fucking bring an extension cord to that bitch, and then they're going to set up your modem like right where you took those pictures, I guess.
So I'm saying that conduit is for 120 volt power, and the other one is plastic. That's where the fiber goes.
Nah, there's no way to tell what that conduit's for. That conduit is just like they can run fish tape through that conduit and figure out where the fuck it goes, but it's obviously it's not labeled. Normally they'll run like a really thin plastic conduit for fiber because fiber cable's pretty thin, but considering your building's pretty old, yeah, I'm pretty sure you just need to call AT&T. They need to fucking like bring like a spool of fiber and then like run it through that conduit and then splice the
Why would
connectors
they not
through.
already do that?
Because the person that was living in your unit
No.
probably didn't have-
Why would not the both texts that came out? The second one came with notes.
Yeah.
Why would they not do that? Why would they both tell me that it's impossible for them to do that? That they can't do that work?
So probably because most of your city's coax and those techs aren't like certified to like work on fiber. This is the same problem.
Hold
I had
on, me
here
who's
in
ordering
Seattle.
$180 5 gig internet that are coming to my apartment unit to specifically hook up fiber internet. You're telling me that those techs aren't trained to hook up fiber internet?
Yeah, so
They're
for
not
like 3 years,
licensed to do it, is
for
what
3
he's trying
years,
to
I
say.
had no, not even licensed, just not skill set. Like they don't have the skill set. For 3 years, I had to like reschedule those jobs every single time I got them. And I work for one of these big providers, by the way. And then I got the skill set, and then now I do that work. Like anytime that I run into a unit that hasn't been connected with a fiber cable, I just call a guy, he brings all the shit, and then we do it. Yeah. So I think you should call AT&T and then have them like feed your.
People
unit
are
with
saying
fiber.
this guy's been spamming this in chat the whole time. AT&T won't install the cable from the telco room. I'm guessing that stands for telecommunications room / floor of the building to your
Lock box,
unit.
whatever.
That's called the DMARC extension, and it's your building's responsibility to provide that.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's your building's responsibility to provide a space for these communications companies, but it is not your building's responsibility to run that fucking fiber cable because they're gonna break it. They don't fucking know. They're paying minimum wage maintenance guys to like run a fiber.
As
cable. Are you
opposed to
fucking
what
serious?
AT&T, who's paying minimum wage techs? What?
no, they would.
They're not minimum
Probably
wage.
your apartment building would hire a contractor, like an electrical contractor, to do it because they're gonna probably have
Yeah.
to. I don't know what the permitting is like, but like
This is like I'm speaking so far outside of my boundaries, and so you guys will tell me I'm literally fucking retarded. But it makes sense to me that if I'm an internet service provider and I want to guarantee fiber to a building, that it would be far easier and it would make more sense on wide scale, like massive operations, that I've got a standardized process to get fiber into your building, into a room. But once it's in a certain room, that's on the building owners to figure out like the last mile, like to get it to every single individual unit. But you're telling me standard practice, standard procedure is an ISP will run fiber. They will run that connection inside the building through the walls to every single individual unit, that an ISP does that normally?
If there's a conduit there already that the builders put in, then yes. And the reason I say that is because they want the customer.
Wait.
No,
if there's a conduit, that's there, if there's
they won't, that doesn't happen. So I don't mean to. I do the construction side of it. So like I do remodel work. I do new construction, and generally your ISP will not run anything. They basically will only hook up. Because
I mean, you're telling me what I've been doing for the last 5 years, but
well, yeah, but
it might be different in Seattle, but
well, here
yeah.
let me modify this a little bit. So I could believe that in a
Wait, you live in Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay,
I work in
so
Seattle.
do you have an 06 license? I'm an electrician in Washington.
No,
To do anything in Washington, to run a Cat 6 cabling requires a
We're not
Class
running
B
Cat 6,
permit.
dog. What did I just say?
No,
we're running
if
fiber.
He,
what? Your ISP does that work. I don't understand.
I think okay, hold on. Wait, as a quick modifier, because I think this is the heart of the issue. Okay, if there was like a newly constructed building that was like built up to like the newest and freshest standards, I could see that being the case where like the actual building construction already has space for like those nice and neat little boxes in every single unit. And in that case, if the ISP comes in and like the conduits are set up already by like construction people, that yeah, they could just run into every unit because that would make sense. But for a building like what I'm in that seems like it's a renovated building, I would be surprised if like in a renovated building, because AT&T is going to have to figure out, they probably have to do so much work to figure out like what the fuck do we have to do to even get like this shit into these like jinkety fucking areas, right? Because like a lot of the wiring in this might not even be up to code, well probably, but like in terms of like modern shit and wiring to like ensure like fiber boxes in every unit, like it might not even be able to do that. So they would just bring fiber into the building and they'd leave it up to the building owners to figure out on like a renovated building. That would be my guess.
I hear what you're saying. I know that as far as like if there's conduit, then they do it. If they can, if they can't, then they'll give that work to like a contractor that the building will hire. And I'm only saying that because like they're trying to guarantee you 5G, right? They're trying to guarantee you,
a 5 gig line, yes.
yeah, they're trying to guarantee you a certain product. Of course, they're gonna want to like be hands-on with the work, and that's the same thing that my company does. You know, like we want to guarantee you what we're advertising, so we're gonna come and do the splices, and we're gonna come and run the line through the conduit. Might as well, right? Like it takes.
Well, I don't know. When you say might as well, I don't know if that's the case though, right? Like, because it might be the case that in renovated buildings, who the fuck knows how this shit was made, or if this conduit goes to fucking anywhere, or if like things inside the walls are set up correctly. That's why I'm guessing that like they would probably look at a building where the wire's been ran, they'd connect the box. You guys probably have some tools that you use to test it. You probably ping bandwidth test or whatever, and then you make sure that there's like enough bandwidth available from there to the server room or the telecommunications room. But to do every single building in a renovated building seems like it would be.
So I will agree with you that it seems like pretty daunting work. They do it, and then sometimes when they do it, they actually like will do every single unit. You know, barring that like people say no, you can't come into my unit. The other thing too is I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, like if your building guy wants to run the fiber cable, then that's fine.
Well, they don't, because they said that they didn't do that, so I have to go down and fight. I just need to figure out who I need to shout at more. I'll probably tomorrow morning. I'll probably go down to the leasing office, and then I'll call AT&T after, and I'll see who I can complain at. But
did AT&T ever go to the room or whatever that you were saying was on?
To both techs went to the conduit. The first guy didn't seem that smart, but he was like, "Oh, like it's not, the wiring isn't here," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever." But I believed him. But the second guy seemed really smart. Like he was talking about a lot of shit that I don't understand, but he said the exact same thing. He's like, yeah, like this box to the left is another ISP shit. Like we can't guarantee anything here. We don't touch that. Like over here is where the wire should be. There's a service floor that's at blah, blah, blah. There needs to be a drop from that room down to here in order for me to connect the device. And I don't have like the ability to go into that room and run that. Like we don't do that. The building owners do that. That's what he said. But he could be wrong, but yeah.
If that dude like knows his shit and he like knows what's up with these renovated buildings, then sure, I will agree. Like I mostly work on newer buildings, so that's where my knowledge is coming from. The other thing I was gonna say is to test that conduit, to like figure out like where that conduit goes. You would just have like the technician just like fucking.
Well, they both said he said that the conduit goes to the room. He was pretty confident. He was like, yeah, this conduit probably goes to the room.
Then call him back and be like, hey, can you run me a fiber cable? Because if you can do it, then great, let's get this ball rolling. If he truly can't do it, then you need to like get that on paper, and then you need to go to your building owner, right? That's what I would do.
Maybe. Okay, so what I probably need to do is, so tomorrow I will talk to the leasing office and see what they can do, or if they can do anything. But it's nobody there is probably going to have any idea what I'm talking about. Then I can try calling AT&T, and I can say, hey, listen, I don't need a tech to just set up internet. I need somebody that can come and do the splicing shit to run the drop to my actual apartment.
A fiber drop. Just say, you need to like be clear.
Because I don't just, it's not a standard install. I need like an actual internet.
Can I just say though, that's only if they're gonna put the fiber switch in his unit.
What fiber switch, dog? It's just it's a literal splice. Like I have pictures. Actually, hang on. Let me grab my work phone.
Well, no. Wait, hold on. We don't need pictures. Stop. We don't need pictures.
Okay.
He's just saying he's going back to the power issue, but I don't think the power thing matters.
What I'm saying
there's nothing to do with power. Fiber is a literal light.
No. Jesus, stop. He's saying the issue is that if you drop fiber here, there's no power to the fucking box. That's what he's saying the issue is.
Yeah, but couldn't you fix that with like a 6-foot extension cable to like the next
Yeah, you can, of
outlet?
course. From my bathroom, it's just gonna be jankety as fuck.
Yeah, so that's what. So a lot of places that get like renovation, they don't run fiber directly to the unit. They do like a Cat 6 to the unit that runs straight to whatever maintenance room that they use. And that's where they put it, because in newly renovated buildings, generally not everybody's going to be getting that new internet. So they just set everything all up in that one area because it's less that they have to do in each individual unit. So chances are they're going to run
the lockbox room, right?
The demarc room.
Yeah.
So
it's the demarcation room.
What that would mean is that lockbox room would house like multiple modems for each customer. And so you can actually like go with your technician over there and see if there are a bunch of modems in there, then odds are your modem's gonna live in there. And then instead of running a fiber line to your unit, they'll run Cat 5 or Cat 6 to your unit.
So Cat 5 or Cat 6 are not gonna. It's not gonna do 5G.
Yeah.
And
wait, hold on. Cat 6 doesn't do 5 gigabits?
No, it does 1 gig. Cat 6A can do 10 gig up to 100 meters.
Yeah.
Oh, then Cat 6A then. Fuck it.
Well, it depends on how far away the demarc is. So typically,
so you're saying typically they should be running like a fiber switch or whatever.
Yes, they'll splice fiber at the demarc and pull it up to your apartment, and they can either give you a small little business class switch, or in some cases they'll give you a drawing a blank.
Do you know
It's a
like
media
an
converter.
ONU is what you're talking about?
Do I know what?
Yep.
ONU. I honestly I don't even know what the fuck this stands for, but it's basically a modem.
Okay, so Hobbits told me something earlier, and now this is sounding more and more true. Is that I'm gonna get fucking cum shotted, jerked around by both parties over and over and over again. Because now I feel like there might be a possibility that I get the building owner after fucking 2 weeks to actually run this drop, and then the AT&T tech is gonna come and he's gonna say, bro, I don't have any power here. Like, I'm not allowed to hook anything up without like a power outlet. I can't use an extension cable. It's like a fire hazard or some bullshit. So they also need to run power here too, and I need like my whole like electrical fucking wiring for this apartment renovated or some shit. That's what it sounds like.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I think the power thing is not really a problem because like technicians want to hook you up, you know? And if you say it's okay and you say it's fine,
well, both of the techs that were here wouldn't run the drop, which you're telling me shouldn't be that difficult or is difficult.
Yeah, okay, so can I just say something? So I don't know if you like work for like a Pioneer Cable or like a
shit on him. Talk down to his job.
Well, no,
make fun of the last time he said that the last time he was doing the last time he was doing a job, he said that one of the customers died in his arms. Okay, go hard on him. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So like there's people that work for internet service providers and they're like a subcontractor, and generally those guys will do whatever they need to because if they don't get paid. Yeah. Based on what you're saying, these guys are doing, these are hourly AT&T techs that are getting paid to go wherever they need to, and they're getting paid by the hour. You're not going to get a go-getter that's getting paid by the hour that works for a company like that.
Hey,
so
man, maybe I was nice when I did that job, but I hooked people up. You know, like I fucking like ran cable across doorways and shit.
Yeah, but was that in single-family homes?
Yeah.
No, in units too, like this.
He's talking about like some skyscraper building, man. That's nowhere even in the same universe.
Bro,
yeah, this is like a 30 or 40 story apartment building. Like this is like pretty high up. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I don't see AT&T pulling anything from the demarc. The building owner is going to have to contract that out to an electrician. They'll get a low voltage electrician in there to splice fiber.
Yeah, and then you're going to be up to scheduling. And that's why I was saying, like, you should just get internet through the other provider for now, because chances are they're not going to do it anytime quick. They might get the electrician out in the next 2 weeks, and then from there, it's going to probably take 2 weeks for AT&T, and that's, like, the best case scenario. All the equipment is all ready to go. Everything's set up, and, like, where more dots talking about the demarc location. Like, dude, if that thing is not set up for everything, dude, it's horrendous.
You should.
It doesn't.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna find out who the other ISP is in this building. I'm gonna go get a fucking instant on coax box, and then I'm gonna put in my maintenance request. So then in 6 months I have fucking fiber in my apartment. That's what
basically,
I need to do.
Yeah.
Because the fiber, it's the coax thing on the left looks like it's probably all hooked up and ready to go, right?
Yeah, it's
because that's probably what the last users in here were using or whatever. And then this wiring on the right
to like a head and
sure, but the wiring on the right is to get like to all the Ethernet outlets in my apartment, basically.
Well,
it has to be turned to Ethernet wall plates, right? So they probably weren't set up that way because I could tell because it's phone. So some people choose phone, other people choose fucking Ethernet. But you're probably gonna have to like have the building people replace your wall plates with.
They're Ethernet wall plates. Why would they need to be replaced?
Are they Ethernet or are they phone?
Yeah.
Because not all the wires are hooked up there for it to be Ethernet. There's only 4 sets that are hooked up.
Let me check. Hold on.
Also, oh shit, he left. I was gonna say also a lot of times what they do is they'll move people out and then clean the unit up, you know, and then like just put the wall plate on the hole and like not even connect it.
Oh yeah.
Because they're trying to flip the unit, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to like take a screwdriver to one of those.
It is Ethernet because the tech that came in today was going to work on that outlet over there. Yeah.
Oh, so I see. Okay. Yeah. It wouldn't be a bad idea for you to like take a screwdriver to one of those wall plates and make sure the cable's actually hooked up because like I was saying earlier, the cable.
Why would they put empty fucking Ethernet plates? In the fucking
They're
apartment.
flipping units. They're flipping units. That's why. Because a customer moves out of the unit, they clean up the unit, they put new carpet. I'm sure you know about this.
And then they put troll wall plates so that the guaranteed the next tenant comes in and bitches and complains the entire time. Why would you set yourself up like that?
Because you don't give a fuck. You're just trying to get rent money, dog. Like, I used to do, I'm not even trolling. Like, I used to, like, fucking have to, like, pull every single wall plate out of units that were flipped like this. So, I'm only saying this from my experience, but maybe Seattle's different than fucking Florida. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, the tech that came in here today removed that wall plate and started like looking at that before he went to the box, or the quote unquote the box. So I mean, I'm assuming that everything is okay there.
What I would do if I were you, by the way, next time you have a AT&T tech, have them take you to the lockbox room. There's nothing wrong with you being in there, and you can take pictures and see if
the lockbox room.
No way. No way are they gonna let a tenant in the DMARC location?
Why not?
Wait, why would you? Isn't it just a huge liability for no fucking reason?
Why would it be a liability? All it is a room with like infrastructure on the wall. Like,
yeah, but if I fucked with anything.
You don't, dude. You stand outside the door and you take a picture.
Yeah, but why would he take me on a tour like I'm his child? Like, let me go and show you our internet infrastructure where if you or me touch anything, shit is gonna be fucked for the whole building. Why would you ever let a customer there?
You guys are overreacting. Really, it's just. Hey, can I see where it comes in from? Will you show me, Mr. Technician? And then he fucking will. Like, it's not a big deal.
What?
Like,
I'll ask next time if I can go on a tour. I'll get a little balloon.
He doesn't know.
You guys think? Okay, all right.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. That I'm not like the smartest dude ever, but like we in new construction lock up IDF and DMARC locations, and if anybody is in it, they get kicked off of the job site because everything that's in that room is so valuable to the apartment complex and the future owners.
Yeah.
No. And I've been in there when people are living in there, running the wires that they're saying that he has to run. They do not let anybody near those rooms. There's no way. And so that's why I'm saying if the ISP guy went up there and told him that the conduit is there, then hopefully he did. There's no pull string in it. Hopefully it's some conduit that's actually labeled with his unit number or something, and maybe that's what it is that they're going off of.
Yep.
But like to me, what this looks like is this just looks like something that was set up for only cable internet to run your modem, and that's it, and nothing else. And I could be completely wrong, but like there's no way that the ISP is gonna run that wire. Like they just won't do it. That's where like.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay, I think there's no more point in arguing back and forth. I'll go to the building manager and I'll ask them, like, I need like a response on this pretty quickly, or else I'm breaking my fucking lease. I can't even threaten to break my lease because somebody will just move in right after me. I don't think they give a fuck.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, and then I'll call AT&T and I'll say, like, can you guys actually run this? I need like advanced like tier 2 fucking tech support or some shit. Okay.
Yep. Are you gonna do D&D tomorrow? Just curious.
Do I have D&D scheduled tomorrow?
Oh, I'm just asking because obviously the stream went down today. So
no, I'm supposed to do the Michaela Peterson show tomorrow, which is gonna be off stream. Oh joy. So hopefully my shit drops.
D&D.
Nice, good job.
Imagine wanting D&D.
I literally play like 3 campaigns now because of him. I actually fucking hate him now.
Nice.
Yep. Well, you can DM me, I guess, if you have issues, or you can DM Hobbits. Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
See you, dude.
Love you. How is this shit not massively illegal? I assume there's something in there about internet availability. I doubt there's anything in my lease about internet availability. I don't think so. There's probably like some basics level of services that's guaranteed in a lease. And like technically the coax meets that, I'm sure. I don't, it just sucks to like, I just had so much expenses like this past month, and then to pair that with like, I'm stuck here. I feel like such a fucking neat loser, like sitting in my apartment all day doing fucking nothing. I can't work, and it just drives me fucking insane. Oh, tomorrow morning. You stream from my house, brother. Come to the Sunny Isles. Gotcha. I'm on my way. Fuck. I don't even know what we were talking about before this. Sorry. It's pretty late now. Should I just sleep? Just stream audio only? True. Can you give a machine gun take on the OTK Rich sexual assault allegations? The rich dude is like ultra rapey, ultra creepy. The girl is ultra fucking retarded and super stupid. Both of them were dumb as fuck, but that rich dude was like obviously super ultra in the wrong and probably raped that girl, or you got as close to it as you could. I think that's about. Why was the girl retarded? Because the guy was clearly. I would have to go back and reread her twit longer, but this is the impression that I got from reading it. The impression I got was that he was a fuckboy, he fuck zoned her, he was only ever interested in sex, she thought she could get more, and she kept running back to this guy who clearly didn't want more, and she thought maybe eventually he would date me, and she like put herself in really dumb, stupid fucking situations that she shouldn't have been, and he kept like ramping up the pressure until he could fuck her, and then eventually it probably happened without her wanting it to happen, but like she needed to disconnect from that situation and stop being like ultra clingy, ultra trying to like make a relationship happen. She was just like being like, was stupid. She was like super fuck zoned on it. And then he was like super like creepy fuckboy-y, maybe rapey, like, yeah. Her twit longer was sus, to be fair. I don't think her twit longer was sus at all. The guy's messages read like somebody that would try to like ramp up the pressure over and over and over again. The rich text messages sounded like that. Isn't calling her retarded when she got raped kind of shitty? Not really. You can do a lot of retarded things and get raped because of it. That's super totally possible. For instance, if you were to do fucking Rohypnol willfully and then go out to a club and then get raped, like you were fucking retarded and then you got raped. Like those are not like incompatible positions. It doesn't make the rapist in the right. Obviously, it's still fucking horrible if somebody's raping you, but... Actually, fuck it. Link me the twit longer, and I can point out her mistakes. If somebody wants to link it to me, fuck it. I got nothing else to do tonight. I'm just gonna be fucking masturbating for 12 hours, so I'm pissed off at everything, so... If you want, link it to me. I'm not saying it can't be true that you do something stupid that leads to being raped, Destiny. Oh, okay. If you want the whole account, here it is. Actually, can somebody link me the tweet before this because she shows him his text messages that like provide a little bit of context, I think. We can read a couple of these. Are you in New York? Yes, I am. Oh shit, how long would be cool to hang? I've been here for a bit. I was planning on leaving tomorrow. Oh, what are you doing tonight? My friends and I are just at a bar for a bit. No formal plans, just catching up. If you want to hang out later, let me know. I was already in bed, LOL. I would catch up with you, but it's okay if you're already in bed. Would you want to come chill here? It's okay. I don't think that's something I'm comfortable with. Okay. Now, it is incredibly obvious that Rich just wants to fuck. That's the only thing he's interested in. It's painfully obvious by reading this. If you're not retarded, it's painfully obvious. On her end, it's pretty obvious that she's not interested in hooking up. That's pretty obvious. Okay, would have loved to see you. Too bad you're already out of commission, but no worries. What would you want to do? I don't know, whatever, honestly. I have a little movie theater in my building. Would you want to chill there? I don't have a trek in me to go out this late, but that way we could chill and it's not in my apartment. Yeah, we could potentially do that. She's just beyond, and maybe she's like 14. I don't know. I would have to go and read through, or maybe because women are also socially retarded, just like men are. All of you people are fucking retarded. But she shouldn't be saying yes here. She's so desperate and so clingy for saying this. Like, this guy only wants to fuck you. Like, why are you so desperate here thinking that he wants to be more than a fuckboy? Like, he sold you the entire time. Like, I didn't want to fucking leave my place. I just want to get you as close to my fucking bed as possible. Like, it's painfully obvious what he wants. Why the fuck are you agreeing to go anywhere near this guy? It's so stupid. Cool, when would you want to come? Once I'm done here, I could probably come by. Cool, what time are you thinking out of curiosity? I'm honestly not too sure. Okay, I'm excited to see you. I'm going to stay up. I'm so excited. Ha ha ha. Seriously, if it's too late, it's not a problem. LOL. I don't want you to wait around if you're going to bed. I'll wait up. Send me a pic. It'll help me stay up. LeMayo, Rich, seriously? What? I want to see your face. LOL. Nice save. Do you still want me to come by? I just paid at the bar. Yeah, address, blah. Okay, be there soonish. What time you think? I'm dropping off blank at the village. I think 12:40. Okay, is that okay? Or should I just stay in Manhattan? Come over. All right. It's just so stupid. But, okay, now we can read her thing. Throughout the whole account, here it is. Rich and I had a very up and down, on and off friendship and relationship for 4 years. I started towards the end of his career on the Call of Duty desk. Our physical relationship started in Columbus, Ohio in 2019 and was a disaster from there. Without going into extensive detail, because that's what would be required to explain it, there were several times during the 4 years that he made it clear he only viewed me as a sexual object. Yeah, seems about right. Based on the text, seems right. But when I would confront him about it, I would get love-bombed and gaslit into thinking that he cared about me and wanted to be with me. Yeah, he sounds like a fuckboy. This is a fuckboy, okay? This is why you stay away from fuckboys and don't get fuck-zoned by fuckboys. This would happen during the single periods of my life, as any time I would be in a relationship and he would text or call me, I would tell him I was seeing someone else. After he lied to me about having a girlfriend for an extended amount of time in June of 2021, I didn't speak to him or see him until he called me asking to apologize around the end of July/beginning of August. I always had a deep love for Rich as a person and friend. As the beginning of our friendship, he was there for me like not a lot of people are, so I gave him another chance to be friends. Okay. He told me he would prove to me that he was working to be a better person, that he wanted to be in my life. Then in October, he began his typical antics and begged me to come to Texas around his subathon. I said no because I did not think it was appropriate to stay with him because I didn't want to sleep with him and that I did not trust him. He also came to LA in December 2021 and asked to see me, but mainly was only asking me to come to his hotel. I said no due to the fact that I was not interested in having sex with him. There was not much communication until I was at a French restaurant, AOC, in the Upper East Side on January 30th of this year with 2 girlfriends. As the night came to an end around 12 a.m., I Ubered to Rich's apartment in Williamsburg because he asked to see me. We were in the movie theater in his building and talking, and he repeatedly kept attempting to get me to lay on him. I repeatedly said, I'm not here to sleep with you, and I do not want to do that. Why are you fucking here? Just leave. At one point in the theater, he said, I think tonight is the last time I'm ever going to see you. This is him being manipulative, of course. After trying to speak to him for an hour about our relationship and the awful way he treated me, he just continued to reflect and said there's no reason to talk about it because it makes him feel bad. This is him being manipulative. He said he couldn't stay in that room and needed to go up to his apartment per the apartment rules. I said I don't trust that, and he promised me that this situation, nothing would happen. He was respecting the boundary I set. This is him being manipulative. We get upstairs, and he's just talking about how I would get, about how hot I would be pregnant. He then proceeded to jerk off in front of me while continuing to talk about how he thinks about me getting pregnant constantly. He kept begging me to have sex with him. I said no. He continually attempted to take my clothes off. I kept saying no. At the end, and I mean the very end, he rolled me over and put himself inside me and finished, unprotected. Afterwards, I called my friend who I was staying with so I could come back, and she wasn't answering because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there, so I called hotels around New York City looking for a cheap room. I asked for the nearest subway, and it was a 20-minute walk. Without saying anything to him, I left and cried in his lobby, and he texted me, "You okay?" I never replied. I left, went to a sketchy hotel in Chinatown, and pressed it by myself. I left New York the next day, never spoke to Rich again. I'm a 30-year-old woman. I'm a 30-year-old woman in a relationship with someone currently. I have had several relationships with people that simply did not work out, and I still respect those people, and would never make a false claim based on a relationship ending. I get nothing out of lying about this. In fact, it's almost expected to receive ridicule when speaking about sexual assault. You can believe me or not. I genuinely don't know. She got played super hard by a fuckboy. And maybe raped. It's hard to tell what happens. Like, the most important details are kind of kept a little bit ambiguous. Like, how did we get from jerking off to her having no underwear or clothes on? To like get like, how are they sleeping together or in bed together? And he rolled over and was able to get himself inside of her. I don't understand this chain of events. I don't know how this might be my sexual experience. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've never understood this before. I feel like the hardest part about raping somebody would be, how the fuck do you get your dick to go in a dry vagina? I have no idea how the fuck people do that. I guess maybe if you spit a lot and then go, but it seems like it would be hella uncomfortable. Or maybe she got, sometimes your body can get unintentionally wet or whatever. But regardless, that part is the least important part. I don't know how they got onto the bed with her without her pants and underwear on, and then he like gets inside of her and fucking comes in her. There's this part is very weird, and it's arguably the most important part where the details are left out. However, I'm inclined to believe that Rich probably knows he fucked up, because that dude instantly stepped down and fucking left OTK with nothing to say about it. So, yeah. Do you have background knowledge in this case? I've heard like whisperings of like Rich being kind of like creepy, like randomly floating through the ether, but it's like nothing solid. I wouldn't say like, oh, I knew this was coming. I wouldn't say anything like that. But I think most people in Austin have probably heard those whisperings, would be my guess. Most people in Austin, most of the bigger streamers have probably heard those whisperings. But I never know how much of it is true, so. Destiny, you say they should avoid fuckboys, but how does someone get to 30 years old and not know the sense of what a fuckboy does? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she was just like super in love with him and really obsessed. Let's say you're rich and you didn't rape her. How the fuck do you defend against this? Because the texts look bad, but not as far as rape. Well, I mean, like, it seems like he's probably really, really, really pushy, and he's probably really, really rapey. Like, that's what those texts look like. And I believe her account of the events here, because they're pretty consistent with the text messages. So, yeah. But she's also retarded, so. She might have been naive to trust him, but he also lied to her and said he respected her boundaries and wasn't going to push her destiny. Yeah, but Claudia, no offense, but like, you're retarded if you, like, that's like, you're out with a guy and he's like, can you please come out drinking? We can go back to my place. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I'm not, oh, please, let's get really wasted. I'll respect your boundaries. And you already have a history of this guy only wanting to fuck you. And he's like, please come over to my apartment and drink. This is my other take. I'm going to roll back out this take again. And everybody can get really mad if you want. I don't care. The only reason you go over to somebody's place is to fuck. Full stop, period. End of discussion. That is a rule that I know. That is a rule that I live by. It has never served me wrong in my entire fucking life. If you invite somebody over to your place, at least one person there has an expectation of fucking going on. There is just absolutely no reason, no rationale, no logical reason to ever go to somebody's place unless you're planning on fucking. Or unless you know the person a lot and you like really trust him. It's like a close friend or somebody you've known for a long time in a non-fuckboyish way. She'd known this guy for a long time and knew he was a fuckboy. So why are you going over to his apartment at fucking 12:30? How stupid are you? What the fuck do you think you're gonna do? Do you think he's just gonna want to watch a movie with you and you're gonna walk away? Like, that's so dumb. She was probably going there to try to debate him into either a relationship or something. That would be my guess. Because otherwise, why the fuck are you going over there at 1 a.m.? Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's just, yeah. Why would you do that? It's so stupid. It's super sus that she's super vague about the most important rapey part. I'm inclined to not believe her until more details come out, I guess. If I had to, we'll be really irresponsible here because who the fuck cares? If I had to guess, warning, this is all conjecture. I have no idea. My guess is going to be is that once she was in the apartment, he's probably doing the thing where you push for more and more and more and more and more until she gives up. Like, can we, okay, we're hanging out, like, let's just hang out, like, okay, oof, I'm really horny. I want to respect your boundaries. Like, can I just masturbate in front of you? Is that okay? And she's like, oh, I don't know, Rich. Like, and he's like, come on, let me just like fucking, let me just jerk off. Like, that's it. It'll be okay. And she's like, I don't know. I'm not super comfortable. He's like, come on, please. And he's like, okay, yeah, if you want, just like respect my boundaries. Like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And it was probably like that type of debate over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But that's probably like what happened until it got to the point where he was fucking her and then came inside of her. That'd be my guess. But yeah. What level in the spectrum of rape or sexual assault would you consider that pushiness? Pretty far down. Pretty far towards the rape section. I hate pushy people. And it's so easy to rape somebody without raping somebody if you're just really pushy, right? This is going to be like, if you go to like the dark triad of like PUA shit, like this is like the way to fuck. Is like, let me get you with some sort of drug in your system. Maybe like 3 or 4 shots or like 2 or 3 mixed drinks, maybe smoke some weed so we can break you down that way. Then let me get you in a private place so nobody can distract us. Then let me start to kind of like guilt trip you or make you feel bad. Oh no, like I'm gonna have blue balls, or like, oh, like I paid for dinner and like we've come all this way. And then it's like, and then you just ask. As long as she never gives you a firm no, because most people are too uncomfortable to do it, eventually you'll get to fuck them. That's like the dark triad, like PUA, like rape, but not really, where you just like, you break them down and then you drug them up, but legally everything is legal. And it's all consensual because they're acquiescing the entire time. And that's like the way to rape, not rape somebody. And then by the end of it, you're like, well, you never said no, and no, they didn't. And it's like, you never pushed me off you. No, they probably didn't. And then it's like, yeah, that's like the, yeah. I think, in my opinion, I feel like that type of behavior is ultra fucking scummy. Like almost on tier as just like rape for me. I think that's like some of the worst types of fucking behavior that you can do. The problem with that behavior is a couple things. Actually, no, the problem is one thing. The problem is one thing is that when so many guys do that, it makes it really hard to just like pursue normal like interactions with women. Like when I'm talking to women, especially women that I'm courting, there is so much shit that I have to account for to make sure that she feels safe, because almost every single thing that I do can be interpreted as like a I'm gonna rape you. And it's because of guys like that. Like you have to go through so much effort. Like, hey, like, can I pick you up from this place? If not, you can Uber, that's fine. Or like if I pick you up, you can fucking bring a friend, or you can drive, or you can Uber and we can meet there. Like you have to like caveat so many different things, because so many different offers that guys do for women are really just like subtle little traps, right? Like a lot of guys are like, I wanna pick you up because if I pick you up, I'm in control of where we go. And once I've got you in my car, if we get out from dinner and I go to my car and I start driving you back to my apartment, you're probably not going to say anything. I don't even have to ask you where we're going to go. I'm just going to drive you back to my apartment. And once we're there, are you really going to Uber home? Are you really going to leave at that point? Especially if you're a little tipsy? Like, probably not, right? There's like so many mindfucky things that like guys will do to like quasi rape women, but not really, that it's just like you have to like do so much shit to like make them understand that you're not doing that. But there's also a game that you're playing because you have to make them understand that you're not going to rape them while not being too obvious that you're trying to make them understand that you're not going to rape them, because then it seems like you're really going to rape them, right? Like if I DM a girl and it's like, hey, do you want to go out to this? Okay, here's the address and here's the time we're going to be there and here's my cell phone number. Make sure to give it to your closest friend. Wink, wink, wink. Like, okay, well now it sounds like you're super going to rape me, right? So there's like this whole meta of like having like the dance of like, I'm going to fuck somebody, but I also want them to feel safe, but I don't want them to feel like I'm intentionally trying to make them feel safe. Like I'm trying to rape, and it's just like so dumb. Just don't be like creepy. The rich guy's a piece of shit, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But the girl was fucking dumb too. Jesus. People think Rich took underskirt pics of Emaru in this clip.
Gross, bro.
You don't like Samaru?
No, people like that.
I like this.
Oh, I just feel sick being around here.
I don't do that.
I feel sick. Can you please put a lid on that?
How do you know? Just because you see the phone in his hand? Oh, you guys can't even see it. There's like a phone in his hand here, and people are saying that he took this phone and he's like.
I like this.
Oh, I just feel sick being around here.
I don't do that.
I feel sick. Can you please put a lid on that?
Does his arm go that far down to get all the way under her skirt? I don't know if I believe that. I mean, maybe, but that's like a... I remember one of the most awkward experiences of my entire life was there was some girl that was this was years ago. Some girl was blowing me, and I went to grab my phone to check. I went to grab my phone to check the time because we had to go. There was either some event or something we had to go. There was like a time thing that I had to hit, and I reached over to grab my phone, and it was, I don't remember what phone it was. It was an older phone, but when I picked it up, it might have been an iPhone. I hit the two side buttons, and as soon as I picked it up, it made the screenshot sound, and I was like, and she stopped for a second, and she looked at me, and I was like, hold on a second. That's not what it sounds like. Dude, I turned so red because it was like this was like a first time hookup with this person. I didn't have like an extensive history with them. I was like, it took a screenshot, and I had to like open my thing and show her. And I don't even know if she believed me actually to this day. Jesus. God, that was so fucking awkward. Oh, as soon as I heard the sound, dude, my dick like deflated. I was like, oh my God. I wonder if that was with my Samsung. There was no, it was with an iPhone, I think, because there was some phone I remember that I took like a billion fucking screenshots of. It was just every time I picked it up and pushed it was always taking screenshots. Like I had like a million screenshots on my desk of my thing. Was it one of the earlier iPhones? I'm trying to remember. There was one of them that I had a million fucking screenshots of, but yeah. Mr. Girl's looking for it now, true. How it's going to be my Samsung? Yeah, iPhone is power plus volume down. It was on opposite ends of the phone. I think it might have been one of the older iPhones. Yeah. Ooh. Oh my God, dude. Jesus Christ. Okay, tomorrow. Okay. Do you care to comment on Shaylin's insane but fire drawing? Yeah, Shaylin she's just like a victim. Like I said, it's hard to like be honestly mad at her because I understand that she's like super like manipulative. I don't even know if she like exists as a human being anymore. If you're ever curious, going back and listening to, I went like on a binge one night because I couldn't believe it. Going back and listening to older podcasts where Shaylin was like a guest is unreal. Like the difference in energy, inflex. What is the word I'm looking for? When you whatever your voice. Inflect, yeah, the inflection in her voice. Like she was like 70 million times more live like half a decade ago, like doing interviews and shit. It's so crazy to listen to the difference. Whereas now, like when I compare that to her inflection, yeah, when I compare that to her like appearance on like Chud's stream, and she's like a literal fucking zombie, I was like, oh my God, that's fucking wild to me. Holy shit. I also didn't realize, I don't want to get too hung up on the Mr. Girl shit, but I didn't realize, it's so funny that he talks about power dynamics. I didn't realize that Shaylin was in such an insane relationship with Mr. Girl. So if you think about it, Mr. Girl, one, uses her for content on his stream, right? He takes videos of themselves and he uses that as like part of his income. And two, he commissions work from her as well. So they like live together. He uses her for his stream and he's like her boss because he pays her for and commissions work from her for his stream shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's like really fucking, there's like a lot of power dynamics there. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. What about the Nadia doxing shit? Hassan and XQC debated for like an hour. There is one reason and one reason alone why Nadia, whatever the fuck, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Is she Asian? I hope I'm racist because I don't know how to pronounce her name. Maybe people can make more videos on me. There's one reason and one reason alone why you shouldn't dox people that send you donos, and that's because they could be using a fake name. That's the only reason you shouldn't. Other than that, fuck them. If you're gonna harass somebody online, you should be able to publish their social security number. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck them. Yeah, fuck them. But the problem is that somebody could be using a fake name, and now you might dox like the wrong person. That's always like the issue.
Before my stream started, I got a DM from Mr. Girl. For those of you who do not know who Mr. Girl is a content creator, a musician, and you could say controversial personality. And he DM'd me something along the lines of like, they're now coming for you. And I'm like, what? What do you mean they're now coming for you? And I was confused because I hadn't gotten any like hateful DMs or anything.
Nice based. How long until you're done with your factory? Oh, I didn't work on it at all today, so I'm working on it, okay? I upgraded my solar panels to tier 2. Hooray me. I completely deleted my old factory. It's completely gone. And for everybody saying, I don't know how to use trains. Oh, baby! We got train stops for days. I'm technically at the same spot in my research where I was before, but everything is like way more organized now, and it should be really easy. Like this factory is way more expandable. I can just throw in more train stations, bring more supplies. I think that like this works as an endgame factory because I'm doing all my like space science here or astronomy science. This is all my biology science. I've got tier 1 and tier 2 here, and then on the right side I'm going to do the materials and the energy or whatever, the purple and the orange. And I think I should be able to build out all of this. I'm hoping that like within a week, I'll have my tier 3 and tier 4 done, maybe. Yeah, I think so. The only thing I'm worried about is like running out of train stops to bring in materials. Oh, I also need to go build out. You need way more of these ingots. I thought about moving all my rocket silos to outer space because you save a little bit on fuel, but I don't want to use this train trek shit is actually pretty expensive. The space elevator stuff, because you have to use like holmium cables and shit to build this, which is like, these ingots are expensive, they're hard to make. I don't know. But show the science tab. Oh, like my research tab? This is what I got left in the game. But I've got like up to tier 2 astronomy, tier 2, or I can just do it over here, I guess. We got tier 2 bio, tier 1 bio, tier 2 astronomer, tier 1 astronomer. And then tier 1 and 2 of the purple and orange will be up here, and then I'll do 3 and 4. But, yeah. How did Nathan enjoy your blue hair? He said I look like Ninja. I actually like my blue hair a lot. I might keep it forever now. I'm so sorry. I have never gotten, this must be like what pretty women or maybe pretty men feel like. I have never gotten so much attention from women in my entire life. It's actually insane. It is so easy because every girl will like look at my hair and they see it. And like a lot of them will stop and say like, oh my God, like such nice hair. I've never had like a girl compliment me before randomly in public. Probably never in my entire life. I don't think I've ever in my entire life had a girl stop me like, wow, you're so handsome, or you're so like, maybe like my mom. But I've had like probably over 15 people in the past like 2 weeks, women, half of them older, like 40s or 50s or whatever, like just being polite. And then like the other half, like probably like, yeah, like late 20s, 30s, are like, oh, nice hair, or whatever. Especially if I'm like in an elevator with a woman, it's like an instant conversation starter. Like it's insane. Jesus Christ, yeah. Are they joking? No, I mean, it does look nice. Or I think, well, it's a little fucked right now because I didn't use my blue conditioner, but I think the color is pretty nice. It's starting to green a little bit, but it's because I didn't use the blue conditioner today. I'll probably re-dye professionally next time instead of like doing the self-dye. Although the guy did a good job on it, so. But yeah, I don't know. But I think my issue before with like doing hair dye is I don't like the way my hair feels, which sucks. Well, it doesn't feel as bad anymore now that I've conditioned it a fuck ton. The thing that I always worried about is that I don't like, when I see dyed hair, I associate it usually with two things. One is with not very vibrant colors. Like this blue is like, especially on the top cell, is like a really cool color blue. So I like that. And then two, a lot of product. I don't like product. But that just might be because I'm a fucking loser or conservative upbringing or whatever. I don't like a lot of product in hair, like the spiky shit. If I feel like if I touch your hair, if it's gonna feel crusty, it is one of the biggest turnoffs. I think it's like one of the big things that keeps you from being like really bisexual is like fucking men's hair. Because like traditionally nice looking guys always have product in their hair. And I don't know, when it comes to like women, like one of the funnest things is like I wanna like touch your hair and like run my fingers through like your scalp. Like that's like a fun, intimate thing to do. And I would never touch a guy's hair ever. It's like the most disgusting fucking thing in the world. We had to touch a guy's hair and feel like the fucking polyurethane force field of nasty fucking gel and what I could never do it. It's fucking gross. It is like one of the most disgusting. It's like shit. It's actually shit. Like if I went to like finger a girl and she turned around and there was shit smeared on her asshole and I could smell it wafting up, like she fucking smeared. That's what product in men's hair is for me. That's how fucking gross it is. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's the reason why I traditionally didn't like dyed hair, is because I always seen it that way. Raptor Balls, thanks for the $49.99 again, my friend. Sorry, Jesus, that was a lot. The only thing I don't like about my hair is when I'm driving, because I'm pretty sure people see me get out of my car and they assume that I dyed my hair to match my car, which makes me look hella fucking stupid. What the fuck is the difference between women product and men's hair products? Women's hair products tend to like make their hair feel like silky and smooth and nice, usually, whereas men's hair products are things meant to like make it spiky or stick up. I'm sure, I'm generalizing a lot. I'm sure there are probably some men that don't do that, and I'm sure there are probably some women that do, but I've never felt like a woman, actually, no, that is true. I felt women's hair with like dreadlocks before and shit. That feels gross. Oof, not a big fan of dreadlocks. But yeah. Yeah, but hairspray and stuff is like, ugh. I just don't want to feel like crusty hair. Ugh. 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 Hello?
All right, 2 things. Have you ever used pomade?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Oh, okay. Well, if you ever want to like shape your hair or have it have any amount of
is
hold,
this going to be where you described me some product that holds it in place perfectly but still leaves it feeling like smooth and natural and silky and beautiful?
it just depends on the type of pomade you have. Some of them are oily, which you don't want, but some of them don't leave any sort of like oils or any sort of residue on your hair. Okay. But yeah, there are some pomades that are like really good for that.
Okay.
Just check it out if you want to try something like that. Secondly, would you at all be interested in checking out my manifesto about responsible platforming on or off stream? I just want feedback.
Have you made it yet?
Yeah, I posted it.
Where'd you post it at?
It's on my Twitter. It's pinned.
I'll probably go over it tomorrow. I don't think I have anything else to do, so.
All right, yeah, just I try to not center it around the Stardust stuff. Some of the the later like examples that I use to tear down some bad arguments, it is clipped from her stuff, but I think generally speaking, I think it's a pretty good set of advice for like responsibly platforming. So
okay.
All right, that's all I wanted to say. But how was did you already moved, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
How was that process?
I'm doing things, yeah. I don't have internet, so I'm pretty fucking triggered, so yeah, but.
How are you streaming right now then?
I bought a shitty fucking hotspot and now I've got 60 gigabytes of data until it goes down, probably sometime the day after
that's
tomorrow.
rough.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, my dude.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, take it easy.
Okay, bye. Oh, another thing. Hold on, real quick. My friend made a Twitter account too. Here you go. Follow that guy. He's a cool dude, I heard. Oh, Michaela Peterson needs to reschedule again. Nice, babe. Oh, good. At least I don't have to do that tomorrow. Don't worry about my internet dropping. More time to stream with you guys. While you have no internet, can you please grind the fuck out of Factorio so we can move on? I have been grinding it. Dude, do you know how long it took to disassemble this entire fucking base? I took apart this whole thing. Oh, and I built out like my whole fucking... I built out like my whole fucking frost factory and shit here too. I've got my nuclear power. Oh, I just set 8 nuclear reactors up for this. I've got like all my little fucking rods coming in. Yeah, I've done shit. Look if you can get T-Mobile wireless home internet, $50 on unlimited data. Nothing is unlimited when it comes to that shit. There's always a throttle. They just don't call it a throttle. They call it deprioritization, and it usually happens after you hit a certain amount of gigabytes. I remember you saying you didn't like compliments on your appearance much. Was that more related to generic stuff like saying you're handsome or by features you don't? I don't like compliments from people that love me because of course they're gonna compliment. Those comments don't mean anything to me, right? Like if my mom says that I'm handsome, you're my fucking mom. Of course you think I'm handsome. I don't care, right? Or if Melina says you look nice, like of course you're my fucking wife. Of course you think I look nice. If a stranger says it though, they probably really mean it. It's like, oh damn, cool. AT&T has a plan that gives 50 gigabits of hotspot. I'm on a Verizon plan that gives 60, I think, so. Destiny, 5G, home. 5G internet now has a 10-year price guarantee. Wait, why wouldn't they sell me this instead of the hotspot? What is this at? Now with any unlimited and auto pay, this limited time offer won't last. I don't believe this. There's no way this is just unlimited 5G. I don't believe you. I don't believe this. No data caps. I don't believe it. You need to get UWB 5G. Oh, ultra wideband. I thought you were making a meme. I'm guessing that's what UWB means. I bought like a $300 fucking hotspot today. So if... Oh, or maybe I could just use that for this internet? Check availability. Hold on. Did you ever see the Mark Ripto Deep Lore and Insanity? Wait, what insanity? Has he gone insane? Or do you just mean like his normal level of insanity? I will say, hearing like the wind blowing out here is a little bit, like, it kind of sounds like a horror movie. Verizon home internet services are not currently available at your address. Okay, well, that was a good waste of time. Thank you.
Twitter can accurately recommend tweets to you that you don't explicitly follow. It can by the same token also show ads that are relevant to you.
So the way that a lot of platforms do ad sales and a lot of like purchasers expect ads isn't necessarily I'm going to give you these ads and I trust you to serve them to the right people. It's usually almost the opposite, where it's I want to target this group of people in this region who went to a Jiffy Lube in the last 72 days. That level of micro-targeting is something a lot of ad buyers now expect, and like it's a huge part of how CPMs can get so high on platforms like YouTube. But sometimes these advertisers will serve entirely different versions of the same ad to different
Can you turn this guy off, please? He's just talking nonsense. Thanks. I've actually talked to the advertisers. If Twitter...
I know you can do those types of ad buys with AdSense, and I know you can do those types of ad buys with Facebook, those specifically. It wouldn't surprise me if that was also available for other large-scale social media platforms.
features as high as possible.
Yes. I mean, I think, frankly, if you want to have a really
That guy that got kicked watches your content? Wait, really?
velocity of features, I think we'll just need to do a total rewrite of the whole thing.
Wait, seriously, a total rewrite. That's your prediction for velocity.
Yeah.
Well, when you say a total rewrite, do you mean starting with the skeleton, or a bunch of engineers sit down with a whiteboard and say, "What is Twitter"? Revolution or reform?
I mean, I just mean like literally, like there's like you could either try to amend the crazy stack that exists, or rewrite it.
But when you
it has to sound. I don't even know. I don't know. I truly don't. But I feel like I'm getting through the universe osmosis. I'm feeling like I'm a programmer and I'm listening to every like small business random loser manager in the fucking world. Like some guy read an article on fucking TechNet and now he contacts his devs and he's like, guys, I think we need to do a total rewrite. And the devs are like, what the fuck do you mean? And it's like, we just need to do a total rewrite, I think. I think it would be good for the code base. We need to do a total rewrite. What do you mean?
When you say crazy stack, what do you mean? Like break it down.
Yeah, wait, what part doesn't work? What is it? The whole stack.
Have you seen?
The whole stack needs to be all of it. The front end of the stack, the back end of the stack.
Break it down.
Have you seen George's like diagram?
No. I mean, like, what do you mean by crazy? No, seriously. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Who are you?
What do you mean? Who am I? I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I don't. Okay. Counterpoints did this to me. It's so hard to balance out not getting triggered and calling people out. If I was in an argument with somebody and we were arguing about some like esoteric music topic, I remember there was a YouTube video that we saw a long time ago. And I think I even called Albert and I was like, the guy in this YouTube video, he says that the key of this song is an F sharp. I don't think so. I think it's in B. And if I were to have that argument with somebody and somebody was like, why would you say it's an F sharp and not in the key of B? This is how I feel like these people answer the question. Well, I mean, like, I went to music school. And it's like, it's obviously in B. I've studied this a lot. It's in, like, and that's the answer they give. One, why the fuck are you citing your credentials? Just talk on it. If you know it, then you should be able to speak on it, right? If you want to argue, like, oh, well, I think it's in this key because I see this cadence here. If you listen to the way this sounds here, it's obviously approaching this. The tonal center of the piece is here. It's reinforced by the melody and the harmony here. Like, the way that the piece begins and the way that the piece ends clearly implies, like, this structure. Like, I would be able to argue every single term, every single thing, and I would never, ever bring up that, oh, well, I went to school for music. Because you would know. You would know that I'm educated. I don't have to cite a credential. I'm obviously knowledgeable on the topic. I would know. Whenever I feel people reaching for credentials or using big buzzwords, one of two things can either happen. Either one, you push them on it, and then you're like, oh, shit, this guy knows a lot of shit. Like, this guy's about to bury me in information, which is cool. That's cool. Talk. Or they're like, who are you? Buzzword. And it's like, do you know what you're talking about? This is the, Elon sounds like he's fucking clueless here, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that if I were to bring like Jader, into Discord, and I was like, why don't we rewrite everything in PHP? I'm pretty sure he would be able to answer. One, he would probably call me retarded and leave. But then two, he'd probably be able to explain for a lot of reasons why it's not an appropriate way to like approach this project. And he'd probably be able to give me like a lot of good reasons for it. He wouldn't just say like, I'm a programmer, trust me. I'm a developer, trust me, right? He'd have a lot of reasons for it. Yeah, I don't know. The fact that he can't cite a single thing, if you're asking for like a full rewrite or whatever, you could at least use like a fucking like cliche answer of like, oh, well, there's 30,000 lines of code and it could be written in 10. Or I don't know, something retarded like that. That's even still, that's stupid. But to say nothing when you're talking about like probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in dev hours that you're talking, and you're talking about taking a product that's already like on the market and you want to rewrite the whole thing, and you don't have a single fucking answer for that? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say that like this one particular error is that horrible, which it is. What I'm saying is like it's indicative of such a low IQ thought process. And Elon should be better than that. There's so much stuff I've seen from this guy, and I hate to say this because it sounds so arrogant and stupid of me to say it, but there's so much stuff I see from this guy and we're like, did he luck into the billionaire shit completely? Is he just a dumb fuck? And then like between him and Trump, like I wonder, like, can you actually be in the right place at the right time and make a good investment and become a billionaire? Because Elon, when I listen to him talk, he doesn't come off as a smart person. I've heard smart people talk before. There are some people I've spoken to that are intimidating to me. Reckful was a smart person. There are some people I talk, the Sean Carroll guy. There are people on podcasts like, this is a smart person. Elon sounds like a guy that got stoned and then he's giving you ideas for like, what if we dig tunnels everywhere? Now, I don't want to take away from his legacy. Again, I will say, SpaceX is awesome. Tesla is awesome. And he was an innovator and he pushed those ideas really hardcore and that's cool. But I will say, there was a clip that got posted to the subreddit a while ago, I think like 3 days ago, where it was like called it. Can somebody link that clip? Because I described it perfectly. I described it perfectly in that clip. Destiny, Elon has made multiple decisions that have gotten him to billions though. Yeah, but now I'm wondering like how much is luck versus how much is like, because like a lot of people make a lot of decisions. Invariably, some of them will be billionaires, right? There are a lot of good reasons to potentially rewrite Twitter in regards to things like tech debt and whatnot, but the overall entire site like Twitter would cost millions to redo. It's not a bad idea, but there's no way in hell he's going to pay for that. So, yeah, sure, but like tech debt, that's like another like, in my opinion, that's a buzzword, right? That's like the thing where it's like, this is 50,000 lines of code and we could write it in 5,000. Like, if you have real tech debt, you should be able to say something like, dude, I'm so outside of my area of expertise. But in my opinion, like, what the feeling would be is that, like, I would say, I have tech debt, I need to do a whole rewrite. That sounds retarded. But if I'm like, I want to add X, Y, and Z features, and somebody's like, we can add those features, but because of like the implementation of our shit that we have right now, it's going to be really hard, really jankety. It's going to be a lot of work, blah, 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 blah. If we do like some rewrites, if we get rid of some of this accumulated tech debt, these types of features are going to be way easier to add in the future. That makes sense. That's like a good like tech debt argument. But to rewrite for the sake of rewriting or to rewrite for the sake of tech debt, that sounds retarded. If it works, then don't fuck with it. Why the fuck would you start rewriting shit and introduce potentially new problems and stuff unless it's preventing you or hindering you from making progress in the future? In my opinion, right? That would be my take on it. Boom. Oh, yeah, this was the impression of... You're 100% right. Also, shit is normally modular. You never need a total rewrite. You rewrite parts of shit. Yeah, of course, right? Like, it's probably pretty rare these days that, like, some project is built literally from the ground up and all of it is fucking unique code. I'm sure there's, like, a lot of modular development that's, like, taken from other things and worked on by different teams and blah, 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 blah. When you become really good at something, there's... Okay, this was a year ago. This was just 100% correct. I was just so insightful here, okay? When you become really good at something, there's like one or two ways that your mind can split. You either become good at something and then you look at the rest of the world and you're like, man, I know a lot about like music and StarCraft. And I can only imagine like knowing so much about this shit that there must be so much to know about like other topics too, even if it seems simple. So I'm gonna be like a little bit hesitant before I'm like, oh, I have a really great understanding of psychology. I know I do because, you know, like I just do because everything's like, there's probably a lot that I don't know. You can either go that way or you go the other way where it's like, you know what? I'm really good at this one thing. I bet I'm probably really fucking good at literally everything. And I would say that like Jordan Peterson definitely falls into this camp. I would say that Elon Musk unfortunately falls into this camp. I super respect him. I love what he did with SpaceX and Tesla. I think he did a pretty good job. But man, that dude, you can ask him a question about anything and he will talk like he's an expert. Like you can give him two rocks and be like, do you know where this came from? And he'll just start making shit up about like time periods on Earth without having any fucking idea because he just feels like he has to be an expert on everything. But yeah, that's the feeling I get from Elon. I'm sorry, I didn't even finish this clip.
No, I mean like, what do you mean by crazy? No, seriously. Come on, buddy, come on.
Who are you?
What do you mean? Who am I? I don't know. You gave me the fucking mic. I got no.
I didn't give you the mic. Whoa! I'm doing the mic, and let's.
It's like the one guy that asked, like, what is an NFT? Like, bro, if you're gonna invite me to speak on something that I'm familiar about, yeah, I'm gonna knowledge dump you, right? Like, if somebody wants to ask me, like, oh, well, what is an NFT? Depending on the depending on like what we're talking about, like, I'm gonna dump a fuck ton of information on you. If you want to like challenge me in this area, we can see like who knows what and then like go from there. But this is like, who are you? Who are you? It makes it sound like yeah, you're just posturing.
Let's keep it civil in my space.
I mean, yeah.
Like what? No, man, you're in charge.
Especially if you're asking for a total rewrite, you don't have one fucking reason you can cite. What the fuck is wrong with you? How fucking stupid are you? Like, does he know anything about like, what does he do? Now I want to know, what does Elon actually do? It's nothing in the development or programming world, right? I can say that with certainty. Nothing. Like, so what does he do?
Charge of the servers and the programming, whatever. Like, what is the stack? Elon?
Keep things
Come on,
technical
man.
in my space, please.
Take me from top to bottom. What does the stack look like right now?
Venture capitalist business world. True.
What's so crazy about it? What's so abnormal about this stack versus every other large-scale system on the planet, buddy? Come on, give it to me.
All right. So first off,
amazing. Wow, you're a jackass.
okay.
And he has no answer. He has totally no fucking idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
All right, no. I got no credibility here, buddy. I got no idea.
Let's first off, let's keep my space civil.
Here, you know, like
we removed him from speakers.
Jesus. Okay, I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. What the fuck? Longer clip of this call. Apparently, this guy's in DGG chat. I understand he's in here, but I don't know what we would talk about. Apparently, this is him, Teg. I don't know what we would talk about. I'm not the one from this specific clip. I'm the guy from the ads clip. Oh yeah, I listened to you from the ads clip. I don't know if, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Did you see this post? What you were describing about ads are, personally, I know that's true for Google AdSense, and I know that's true for Facebook. That I don't just throw like $1,000 on Facebook and say, hey, advertise me. Like, usually if you go through the process of buying ads, at least as a small business on Facebook, it'll be like, I want to show my ad to this people and this demographic that have like these interests. Facebook lets you target like very surgically. It's actually fucking insane. And I think AdSense gives you like pretty good control over those advertisements as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was like some expectation of advertisers to have that control on most like major social media platforms. That would be my guess. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, what's up, buddy?
Okay. So I am just upset because I have been sent messages being like, you are a Nazi sympathizer. So I just want to set the record clear here. Or like the argument that I was originally trying to make. And tell me if you got it or if you think
Wait, what the fuck is this in reference to?
The last conversation we had when I was just like, yeah, like I don't think it follows that you would want to like commit mass violence against the other side, even if they committed genocide against you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the argument that I was trying to make, and I'm just going to start with the banality of evil because to me it makes most sense, I guess,
okay, is
that people can do really fucked up things. I guess like unintentional. Oh, here, I know where I'll start. I have a question for you. Basically.
Wait, hold on, wait. You don't have to explain this whole thing. The banality of evil basically means that people are capable of doing things that are, by end effect, like very evil, but it doesn't require an evil person to do it, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we understand that, yeah. So most Nazis probably weren't super evil people, but they did an evil thing, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes, right. So it follows from that like, oh, there's a difference, or there should be a difference in consequence between people who are purposely being evil, right? People who are purposely like, yeah, like I think we should torture Jewish people. And
yep,
people
there's a difference between
like,
people that are intentionally evil versus like they happen to be evil, or they happen to be part of an evil system. Yes. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So it would follow from that the consequences between those two different people should probably be different, right?
Not necessarily, but maybe.
Not necessarily. Okay, because I'm just thinking like, okay, there's probably a difference between like, let's say like the shoemaker who's been like brainwashed by years of Nazi propaganda or whatever than somebody who's like, I love torturing Jewish people, you know? So I feel like
the problem is you start to get into these degrees of like gross negligence to where it doesn't matter what your intention is. If you are truly like complicit in like a genocide, then you still become like, you know, morally condemnable just because your ignorance is so egregious that it's not really relevant whether you intend to or not, right? Like if you might be like, oh, well, I don't know if trans people are real, and maybe it would be a good idea to like confiscate every trans child from every family, right? You could think that and not be an evil person. But at that point, if you're like a trans person, you're like, bro, like this is some wild fucking shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. But then to me, what follows should be that the consequence, or at least the most effective consequence to, like, let's say, change that behavior or stop that behavior.
Wait, okay, before we get into that,
different.
whatever you're about to say, it doesn't matter. It's great that you think that, but the average person is going to think that the response is violence. Like,
Okay, but
100%.
I'm arguing about what people should think, I guess. Or like
Well, you
how
can, but
people
typically when we argue, or when I argue against using the genocide argument, I'm trying to argue in the political reality that exists today. That if you tell a group of people they're being genocided by another group of people, it's going to make those people want to do violence. Like, that's, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that's like, maybe we shouldn't want them to, but the reality is that's what's going to happen. Just like how if you tell a bunch of people the election is stolen and the ballots are rigged and all that shit, they're going to want to like protest and coup d'etat the fucking government. Like it just logically follows. Or well, the events are like very easily connectable or connected.
Yeah, I mean, I think those arguments are valid. I also think it's worth discussing what people should do instead of like, oh, what just happens to follow, because I feel like that could change people's minds on how they use their rhetoric as well as how they react to people in real life when it comes to these situations, right?
Well, I mean, if people are legitimately getting genocided, I don't know if the answer at that point is legislation. I think what people should do at that point is fight back with violence. If you're literally being genocided, like it's like the worst international crime that could ever be committed against a group of people. You're like at fucking DEFCON fucking 1 at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, can I just interject real quick?
Wait, okay, I don't want to, I'm going to bed kind of soon. I don't want to make this like a 17-hour, 50 million people jump on to give their 2 cents. Do you have something?
I have 1 point and then I'll get off.
Go ahead.
All right, so I think you need to keep in mind the type of demographic that you're talking about, Pixie, right? Because you are trying to convince, like, the people that think that, like, there's a trans genocide going on right now aren't going to be interested in you convincing them to go out and vote away the genocide. That's it. That's the whole point. I'll leave.
Okay. Yeah, and that's also true because a lot of those people will say things. I think Vosh has said things like this. I think Demon Mama has joked about this. People will say things like, oh, well, you can't just vote it away. They're genociding us, right? So they make it sound like the electoral system is basically already exhausted as well.
Well, I don't think the electoral system is enough, but I have a very different way of dealing with these things. I don't think it's even like fair towards trans people either, because it makes them put themselves at risk as well. But I feel like even calls for violence also puts trans people at risk.
Sure, but hold on. I just want to be
I
super clear. Everything you're saying is completely moot because you're saying things like, if we do this, it puts trans people at risk. It doesn't matter. They're already being genocided. If we do this, it could threaten them. It doesn't matter. They're already being genocided. Like, genocide is the last thing that you can be at. It doesn't get any worse than that. So once you've made the concession that a group of people is being genocided, it's like, fuck, like we have to do whatever we can. And at that point, you can be like, well, hold on. If we say that, they'll be in danger. Because they'll just be like, what do you mean we'll be in danger? We're being genocided. Like, that's like the worst. It's over at that point.
Okay, so with that logic in mind, do you think it'd be crazy to be like, okay, it's just, sorry, I've drank a little bit. I always drink a little bit before I go to stream, but whatever.
Okay, sounds healthy.
Yeah, I just get nervous, so that's the best way I can not say like a million times or whatever. But beyond that, I'm not even trying to argue against other trans people right now. I'm trying to just get you to either see if you can like understand my logic or whether you think my logic is like completely out the window, right?
Okay, let me explain it real quick because I understand what you're saying. I think perfectly. I think what you're saying is we can acknowledge that a genocide is happening against a current group of people, but for multiple reasons that people shouldn't take violent like defense. One reason might be that the people committing the genocide, I'm going to invoke the banality of evil and say the people committing the genocide aren't intentionally doing it. It's happening out of ignorance. Therefore, they're not like earning the punishment of death for committing a genocide. That's part one. And part two is, okay, fine, maybe they're in the process of committing a genocide, but if you tell trans people to start fighting back, that's going to put them at even greater harm or greater risk of harm. So we can't tell them to fight back. Therefore, I can say that a genocide is happening, but for these two reasons, that doesn't mean that like we have to start fighting back as a result, because the people doing it aren't doing it intentionally, and the trans people will be at a greater like risk of harm, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But the defeater for both of those points is, number one is you're saying, well, they don't intend to do it, but who cares? If they're genociding somebody, it doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. Like, you would have to fight back. They might not be intending it, but you're being eliminated. Your existence, your group of people is being wiped from the planet, number one. And then for the second part of, the first one was they don't intend it. The second one was, oh, it might put us at greater risk of harm. There is no greater risk of harm. The term genocide was invented to describe the Holocaust. That's the worst thing. You're already at the worst thing. There is no greater risk of harm at that point. The worst risk of harm is already happening. It's the worst thing. That's why I'm saying that, like, once you use the genocide thing, like, all holds are off or whatever. It's like you're yeah.
Yeah, I guess my only response to those two would be basically, this sounds really bad, but you're basically going from genocide 1.0 to genocide 2.0, right? So
yeah, but now look at like the world we're in, where we have to be like, okay, well, like they're at like a DEFCON 3 genocide, but like once they hit DEFCON 2 genocide, like it feels like so silly. It's like, it's kind of like we're doing like the euphemistic treadmill for like.
Hello?
Hi.
Sorry, I think you cut out for a second.
Oh, I was saying we're doing like the euphemistic treadmill for like horrible events. Like it just seems like so silly. Like imagine imagine if you like sexually harass somebody. Like if I touch somebody's butt, you're like, oh, well, you kind of raped them. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Did I really rape them? I was like, yeah, but that's like a lesser form of rape. And like this is like rape 3, rape 2, rape 1. Like this is like rape level. Like you have to you're invoking the worst possible thing. And it's like, I don't know, just it's either one, going to destroy the word, the meaning of the word, and that nobody will care about it, or two, you're just invoking a whole bunch of like moral condemnation for something where it probably shouldn't be invoked.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just not sure if I completely agree, because I feel like there is still meaning in the word, and there's a meaning in the severity of the word. And the reason why I say that is because I'm just thinking, okay, if you get a bunch of trans people suddenly murdering a bunch of Republican legislators, then you probably will end up with the consequence of people being like, oh, you see, trans people are not just an ideology that can harm your children, but they encourage you to harm other people.
Sure, but here's the question.
This is even more of a reason why we have to stop it.
Yeah, let's say that trans people start doing that. What's going to happen to them?
If they start committing mass violence against like Republican legislators?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna like fucking rile the Republican base.
And then they're going to
more supporters.
And then they're going to
they're
what
gonna
them?
pass like even more extreme.
Yeah, but hold on, but they're going to genocide them. But they're already being genocided, so who cares, right? That's the issue. That's why you can't call it genocide, because the worst way that they can respond, what is the worst thing they could ever do to trans people, is genocide them. But we're already saying they're being genocided, so who cares?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. It's gonna sound like from left field, but it's just I'm honestly curious.
Mm-hmm.
If like when you conceptualize genocide, what I'm thinking is like, oh, you can't talk about just let me phrase it this way. If you have Nazi Germany or whatever, but let's say they stopped right before the intent of killing everyone. They just put everyone in concentration camps. Concentration camps. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They put everyone in concentration camps. They have really bad infrastructure there. Obviously, they don't care if people have diseases. They don't care what happens to them, but they're not actively killing them. They're not like shooting them. They're just like, we're doing this with the intent purpose of keeping them separate from us. So we're not going to let them leave. But
Sure, that's like apartheid
to,
or something. That's not genocide, but
yeah. But if it goes to the point where all these people are basically dying because of those horrible conditions, to the point where it's like, let's say 3 million people as well, like just as much of a level, but they're not just actively shooting them. Like, wouldn't you call that genocide?
that it's going to depend on what they start dying. That's going to depend on what you mean. We're going to have to get into the weeds on that. That's going to start to matter a lot, because now we're getting into arguments of like, was the Holodomor or like our famines where food is being stolen from people a genocide? And those arguments get way more complicated.
Okay, we don't have to argue about that right now, but I kind of do want to know your opinion on that, because I
sure
think
we can, but whatever that is, trans people are nowhere near that in the United States. They're not.
No, I agree with that, but I feel like this plays into the other argument of like, oh, whether it matters whether it's being called a genocide or not, or people's intentions. Because if you consider something like the Holodomor like a genocide, you can still argue like, oh yeah, like it's a genocide and it matters to be called that because like these people were being killed to like this extent. Fuck. There was a connection here and I just lost it. Even though the policy wasn't necessarily intended to be that way, but that doesn't make it like any less like genocidal.
Yeah,
And
but
it
like
doesn't
the problem is that
necessarily
like
respond to
we get
that.
into this world where every single minority in the entire world is being genocided. Like, people get into this area where they define genocide as like any time there's like systemic oppression, it's like you're being genocided, right? Like, look in the United States, like black people are malnourished. Their diets aren't as healthy as us. They have higher rates of disease. The government's not helping them with that. They do a lot more abortion. That's eugenics, right? Black people, therefore, are being systematically eliminated and oppressed by the United States government. There's a black genocide happening in the United States. You can make that argument for every single minority across the planet. There's like 50 million genocides that are happening when you say that, which I think like it just makes it like really silly, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you, like, you don't have to have an answer because obviously this is like a lot, like different, complicated, whatever. Would you classify genocide? Would there have to be like a rate of dying before like birth, I guess, or some sort of rate like that for you to classify as a genocide? So if like policies are causing the specific group of people to
no, it can't be a byproduct. I think genocide is an intentional process by which you are trying to completely eliminate it's like ethnic, religious, or whatever. But like, I think genocide has to be like an intentional thing. Like, if you end up doing a policy and it's like, oops, these people died, like that sucks, but it's not a genocide unless you're fucking.
So you
Canadian.
wouldn't consider like Holodomor like a genocide?
The reason why the Holodomor is more complicated is because of things happening to where the crops that were growing in Ukraine were being stolen from the Ukrainians. There was a name for this, requisitioned by the Soviets, and it was taken into like central Russia, to like Moscow and shit. Like crops are being stolen from Ukrainians, and then if people tried to flee their village, they were shot and killed. And then the animosity that might have existed between parts of the Soviet Union, parts of Ukraine, make it harder to tell, where it's like, you're stealing food from people, you're killing them if they leave their villages, you know they're starving to death. This feels intentional, but that's why I'm saying it's kind of hairy at that point. Like, was it intentional? Was it not? Like, yeah.
So you don't know if it's clear genocide or not.
No, the Holodomor requires argument on both sides. Same thing with like the Irish like fucking potato famine, where like people were starving, but they were also selling potatoes to the British government and blah blah blah. Like those things get more difficult, but because you're trying to weed out. Because I think the intent is really important there.
Yeah, I just. Maybe, and this is probably just something that is going to take more deep dives into different genocides or different supposed genocides to be able to have like a firm position on. Because I feel like we run into the racism problem. I feel like we run into the problem where it's like, oh, well, we didn't intend for this to happen, but like, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, this amount of people are being killed, and it looks like it's going to lead to the decimation of that population.
No,
like even if you didn't intend to do it.
No, stop. Okay, stop. Hold on. Okay. Genocide was created to describe an explicitly fucking horrible thing. Okay, there is something very uniquely evil about. I want to fucking eliminate a certain group of people. That is a unique thing that requires a unique process that is way different than like a bunch of white people like subjugating a minority. It's like, fuck it. If they die, they die, fucking blah, blah, blah. That's horrible. And there might be people that are being starved, and maybe they even have cops like raping like Native women, and maybe they shoot the Native men and like, fuck these people, blah, 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 blah. But it's not genocide. All forms of systemic oppression are not genocide. A form of systemic oppression that involves forms of eugenics, like high abortions, forms of oppression, forms of like dietary restrictions or starvation, all of these things might not even be genocide. Genocide is very uniquely describing an intentional process of eliminating a certain group of people. I think that is a special definition, and I think it ought to be reserved for the most extremely evil things, like probably the most evil thing that an organization can do to a group of people. And I don't like the idea of all systemic oppression is genocide, which is the argument that you're essentially making.
No, that's not the argument I'm essentially making. The argument I'm essentially making is that if you talk about, intention, like it has to be very like clearly obvious, then you run into really fucking sticky situations where people could, for all intents and purposes, want to genocide, but they're just fucking smart enough to like not explicitly state it. Right? So that's why I say, it's the same as the racism problem. I'm not saying all forms of the systemic injustice are the same thing as genocide. That is not what I've said, and that's not what I believe. What I'm saying is that...
Genocides don't... Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. What I'm saying is that I'm uncomfortable saying, there has to be an explicit intention, because I see the same parallels that happen with racism. I see people basically do all these actions that indicate this, but since the intention is never explicitly clear, they get to skirt by and be like, "Oh, I'm not racist."
Okay.
This
I understand what you're saying.
this
I
is
just
just a
I don't think this is real life. I don't think this happens. There's not a group of people that like sneakily genocide something. Like genocides are incredibly explicit, okay? Christians being targeted in places of the Middle East because they're Christian is an explicit thing, okay? Sunni or Shia oppression that happens in places like Iraq, depending on the government, like these are explicit things that happen. ISIS targeting people of religious sects is an explicit thing that happens. People targeting Jews across the Middle East or Europe is an explicit thing that happens. There are no sneaky genocides, right? Apartheid in South Africa, it's not genocide, but like it's an explicit thing that happens. Or the types of racism that occurs in like fucking India with the caste system are like, there are no sneaky genocides. They're like, oops, we happen to lock all these people up and then murder and rape and torture. And no, those aren't accident. Like if a sneaky genocide happens, we can talk about it, but I don't think that's the real world. I think that's like a really goofy hypothetical that doesn't describe anything that's ever happened in the world before.
I have a question. Okay, well, no, because like there's two things here. My first question for you is, do you think what the United States did to like Native Americans would classify as a genocide? And if you say no, it's just like a difference in opinion, whatever.
The problem, the problem with calling that a genocide is that it's hard to use genocide to describe actions before like the 20th century. You get into very weird, hairy territory where like the rules of the world and the way that people conquered each other and killed each other, whatever, was just like, it was very, very different back then. Like under our modern understanding of genocide, like probably, yeah, I think so. I think we'd probably call it a genocide, but it's weird to say that things that happened in like the 1600s, 1700s are like a genocide. But go ahead.
All right, because the reason why I bring that up and the reason why I also bring Holodomor up is because when you're saying, oh no, like these are like goofy examples, blah, 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 but it's like, okay, but you have examples of what people debate or argue are genocides where it's not explicitly clear that they're trying to eliminate Ukrainians or eliminate necessarily Native Americans. A lot of these things are under the guise of, oh, we just want to keep them separate. And if they happen to die, like, that wasn't our intention, question mark, question mark, question mark. But it doesn't seem to be congruent with how we view genocide. Right?
No, because you're...
congruency there.
No, okay, hold on. This is the argument that you're making, okay? Somebody met a girl at a bar, and they had a lot of fun, and then she passed out, and then he took her into a taxi cab, and he fucked her in the backseat while she was unconscious, and fucking came in her, and then she woke up, and she was like, bro, I just got raped, okay? And then they're having an argument over, like, was this a rape or not, or this a rape or not, or blah, blah, blah. And then another girl comes by, and it's like, oh my God, like, I think I got raped too. A guy touched my boob, and I didn't want him to. And now, like, you're grouping both of these people together, and you're saying, like, well, look, like, rape can be really confusing, because both of these examples are, like, the same. I totally disagree that you're trying to say, like, well, the Holodomor, whether or not that was, like, a genocide or not, like, maybe that's a really confused, that's a very complicated issue. I agree, but that's nothing like what happens to trans people. That's nothing like what happens to minorities. You're worlds apart there. You are like 50 million rungs down the genocide ladder before you get to anything remotely resembling what's happening to anybody in the United States, right? And again, even things talking about, like when it came...
This is a problem...
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. This is a problem. I guess I started off on the wrong foot here because I did start with the trans stuff. Because I don't think that's a genocide either. But the reason why I started there was just because of the whole idea of like, oh, like can a group of people be genocided and then not follow, like not want to commit mass violence back or whatever? Or can a group of people be genocided without that intentional purpose of being genocided? So I understand where you can you think of... just where you have that impression.
Sure, but like, can you think of an example of a group of people being genocided where like they shouldn't fight back?
Well, it's not that they shouldn't fight back. Like, I think like you should always like fight back to it depends on what fucking methods you use to fight back. So this is going to be kind of a bad example because it happened after Nazi Germany fell down, right? But the consequences that we delivered to the vast majority of people in Nazi Germany who were not Nazis was not, oh, we're going to shoot them all to fucking death. It was like, okay, no, we're going to make you walk through the fucking concentration camps and see.
Wait, no, hold on. This is the genocide was over at that point. That's a non.
That's why I said it was a bad example.
Well, sure, but it's a good example though because like, what did we do when we were going into Nazi Germany? We shot and we killed Nazis, right? That were actively genociding people.
Yeah, but the point is that like the vast majority of people who made that, and that's why I brought up the banality of evil in the beginning. The vast majority of people who made that possible in the first place were not actively, killing Jewish people. They were either letting it happen or supporting those policies or, but they weren't actively torturing Jewish people.
Sure, but it doesn't matter. You're still complicit in the system that's doing it.
Yeah, but it does matter in the sense of what consequences are we going to deliver to you? Are we going to deliver violence? Are we going to kill you?
But we're not talking.
Are we going to make you see what's going to happen?
No. We're not talking about the consequences that are being delivered by a third-party dispassionate justice system. We're talking about the consequences that are going to be delivered to you by the victims. The victim doesn't care about the banality of evil.
Yeah, but what I'm talking to you about are the consequences that should be delivered. But maybe this conversation is just for naught because
because the consequence we're talking about is whether
talking about practical.
Well, no, it's not practical or not. We're not talking about punishing people for genocide. We're talking about defending ourselves from genocide. When people talk about the trans communities being genocided, the argument is whether or not they should be able to attack and fight to defend themselves from genocide. It's not about whether like a third-party court of law should be convicting conservatives for genocide.
But obviously, I don't. You're not. If you're a victim of genocide and you want to curb genocide, you want it to stop, then you're obviously going to, or you're going to try to look for the most effective methods. No.
Yeah, sure, you could be, but like you're pushed to the wall at that point. If you're being genocided, you're already like on the verge of extinction. So like you're probably like the tactics available to you are probably going to be almost everything. Right? From like assassinating politicians to fucking doing whatever. Like you're being genocided. It's the end of the line for your entire group of people.
Well, they're trying to make it the end of the line. I feel like there's an important distinction between like, oh, like there's only like 10 Jewish people left and versus, oh, they're trying to start to eliminate all the Jewish people.
If you're currently being genocided, then that process has already begun. We're not at the planning stages. We're at the destruction stages. So if you're at the destruction stages, then fuck, if you can hatch like a coup d'etat or the most crazy radical shit ever, you're probably within your right to do so because you're literally like your group of people is facing on the verge of an intentional extinction by your oppressors. It's like the most radical, extreme, horrible thing that can happen to you.
Yeah, but if you think you're the coup d'etat or if you think those methods are going to lead to just, a massive backfire that's going to like make more people in support of this genocide, then it doesn't make sense to do that.
Who cares? You're already being genocided. You're already the worst. It can't get any worse.
There's a way to stop the genocide. If you think there's a more effective way to stop the genocide, you would take the more effective way.
I don't know if you can just stop a genocide. Is that possible? Has it ever happened before in human history? I feel like they usually have to stop because like a military comes in and kills the other party, or there's external like NATO comes in and fucking annihilates you back to the Stone Ages. Like I don't know if people could just like stop a genocide. Like it has to be violence. I don't think people would just say like, no, I'm not going to be genocided anymore.
Well, the problem is I don't think. Well, that's not what I'm trying to characterize as how you stop genocide. What I'm trying to say is that like I don't know a genocide that's been stopped preemptively by like doing mass violence against the opposing party. Like I don't think if like the Jewish people, what is it? Like I think if the Jewish people like suddenly started killing Nazis before the genocide, I don't know if that would have worked out for them because I think that would have just like enamored the Nazi base even more. They'd have like fucking proof, right? They'd be like, well, Jewish people are violent people.
But we would you wouldn't. No. If there,
you don't think that would happen?
Absolutely
you don't think the Nazis
not.
would like capitalize?
No, they might. But if there were stories during the pogroms or whatever of like some Jewish people getting guns and like shooting and killing Nazis and getting killed, there is no fucking shot that you today would be in here saying like, yeah, I think that those Jews that were fighting back during the pogroms, I think that they were in the wrong. They shouldn't have done that because they were really like causing a lot more hatred for the Nazis against them. I don't think you'd be saying that. You'd be saying like, oh, those people were like heroes. It was cool that they fought back. It's sick that they died, but like they were already getting like the genocides were already starting. Well, not really actually. The pogroms, I don't know, maybe, but like yeah, you would say like, it's good for
I'm
the
saying
fighting.
is that in that point of time, I'm saying in that point in time, you don't think the Nazis would have been like, oh, look. Like, these people committed violence against us. If we weren't even trying to do anything that bad, like, we were just, like, making sure that they were, like, separate from us. You don't think the Nazis would have, like, capitalized that and, like, convinced other people to be on their fucking side? Because I feel
hold on.
like
No, hold on.
like,
I'm not just going to say we
violence,
disagree.
like,
No, hold on. I'm not going to say we disagree. You're wrong. If you're already being genocided, it's already at the worst thing. It's not like it's going to get even...
I'm saying before genocide. Because, like, you're saying, like, oh,
sure. Wait.
Like during genocide, blah blah blah.
If you want to say before genocide, sure, but now we're talking about a fundamentally different thing. Before genocide is not currently being genocided, right?
Okay. So when it comes to like the whole like trans genocide argument, your argument would be like, oh, if they were talking about like we're close to getting genocided or for genocide, what they would be saying would make more sense. Or I don't even know there are like.
I mean, you could say you're like on the road to potentially being genocided or something. Sure, I'd be like more okayish with that. But like once you're being genocided, at that point you can do whatever the fuck you want. Car bomb, like the most extreme shit is on the table now because you're being genocided.
Okay, even if you think that would lead to a more like popular consensus of you being genocided.
It does. You're already being genocided. You're being genocided. It's the
but
worst.
I feel like there's fucking levels to this.
There's not. No, there's not. There's not. Genocides don't stop with Democratic votes. If a genocide is happening, shit is fucked. And you're not voting your way out of it. It's fucking over. You're being genocided. That's why genocides are stopped by NATO F-16s bombing your country into the fucking Stone Age. Or it's why it's stopped by a populist uprising or another military coming in and shutting your shit down. Genocides aren't stopped because all of you behave really, really, really well and then people decide to vote against it.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not, okay. I'm saying that
you're saying that if they fight back, it'll make the genocide worse. Like that's what you're.
No, I'm not necessarily saying that. I don't think that's true in every case. I want to be very fucking clear. That's not what I think in every case. What I'm trying to say is that there's a big difference between a genocide that only has 10% support of the population and 90% of the population doesn't care, and a genocide that has like, let's say 80 to 90% of the population on their side. I am saying there's going to be a difference in intensity of that genocide, okay? When it comes to a genocide that's happening because the majority of people don't fucking care to do anything about it or like, you know, are ignorant about it, there are gonna be a lot less like intense, stringent programs focusing on that.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Almost everybody in that society thinks you should be dead.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that the words you're using now, like, I don't understand. I don't believe that. I don't think it's possible that 10% of a population could genocide somebody with 80 to 90% of the population being indifferent. Whatever you're describing there is not what I would consider a genocide. That's something fundamentally different.
Okay, so you think for a genocide to be possible, you would need to have, like, it's okay if you don't have an exact percentage, but if you have a ballpark, I think that'd be interesting.
I'm saying like probably at least like 40% would be my guess. Like 35-40% at least probably.
Okay. So I just want to be somewhat clear of your definition of genocide. You think it'd have to be like 35 to 40% of the population intentionally wants to kill you, and that could be considered a genocide.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
At least. Maybe even 50%. But like genocide doesn't happen with 10% of the population and 90% not caring. If it's genocide.
Okay, maybe this is just like a difference in like how we view people, I guess. Or maybe I just have to like look at more specific examples before. Well, okay. I'm thinking about China now. And what's happening with the like Uyghur.
Yeah, hold on, real quick. Like, okay, wait, hold on, real quick. Wait, real quick.
China.
We have to be careful not to get too caught up on this banality of evil thing, okay? We don't talk about it much, but we have responsibilities as citizens of a democratic republic for the things that our government does, okay?
Absolutely.
It is not
100%.
an excuse. You can't just say banality of evil 30 times to excuse yourself from having any wherewithal to what the fuck your country is doing. So I understand
That's
that,
not
like,
what I'm doing.
I know, but you keep saying like, well, banality of evil, they don't have the intention. They don't have the intention.
Because it changes the consequences. It changes the difference between I'm going to shoot you and I'm going to like fucking walk you through this town.
You have to, when you talk about consequences, you have to attach that to a subject. The consequences from a legal system are going to be different, but from the oppressee is not going to be different, right? They're going to be totally the same. I don't care if you're accidentally trying to genocide me or intentionally. If I'm the one getting genocided, there's no fucking difference. I'm going to kill you. I don't care at that point. But from a court of law, they might evaluate it a bit different. The mens rea, the why are you doing what you're doing, they might have a different thing. But it's important. But when we talk about to bring it back to the trans genocide, from the perspective of the trans people being genocided, they have the right to do anything if they're truly being genocided. But that you have to talk when you talk about consequences.
Do you think like the Uyghur Muslims have like a right to like, let's say, just mass shoot a bunch of like rice plantation farmers in China?
I think that it's different when you're talking about non-democratic governments. I think that the argument gets a lot more hairy there. Because in a non-democratic, non-representative government, that government is not necessarily expressing or beholden to the will of the people. So it's a lot different. In the United States, we have a lot more responsibility as individuals for what our military does overseas than a Chinese person has for the Chinese military doing shit in Africa, right? Because an individual might not have the same say in an authoritarian regime as in the United States as we do in a democratic republic.
Okay, that makes sense. Because when you're talking about like, oh, like, you know, they're not necessarily beholden to consequence, whatever, or no, they are beholden to the consequence no matter what. My mind went to like, well, I don't think it's necessarily fair for a Uyghur Muslim to like kill a bunch of like rice plantation. Okay, whatever, you know what I mean.
Okay, also wait, hold on. The average Chinese person is not like a rice planter, right? They live in like cities and they have, okay.
Yeah. The reason why I brought that up is because it's like a clear example of people who could be like ignorant because of like their socioeconomic status, plus like where they are in China to what's happening. And I wouldn't assign the same responsibility of like a fucking genocide to like somebody like who's an active member of like the CCP, like passing like these policies.
Sure,
like,
there's going to be like
there's a
levels
clear
of separation of like responsibility for sure. So like in the United States, like a middle class person might have more responsibility to be well read on foreign policy than like somebody who's like barely scraping by working middle class job or working class jobs, right? Sure.
Okay. I think that was, what is it? I probably have more that I'm going to think about later, but I think that was like one of the biggest things for me because it was just like I feel dirty saying that those two people are the same, but you're not saying they're the same, so it's okay.
No, but from the perspective of the victim, they're the same. But like from the perspective of like the legal system, they'd be a lot different. Like let's say,
but even outside the legal system, there's like let's just talk like let's try to like
no, hold on. It's important to understand the victim versus the judge person or the person passing judgment in a situation. Okay, if I'm standing still in the street and there's two universes, one guy is like running at me with a knife because he wants to stab me to death because he's a murderous fucking rampage because he wants to murder white Cubans, okay? And let's say that another guy is just like really drunk and he's like having fun and he thought that he grabbed like a cell phone, but he grabbed a knife and he's like running right at me, okay? In this world, those two subjects, and in these two worlds, they're completely different in terms of intent, right? One of them is trying to kill me. The other one is just like running, But even though those two people are totally different in terms of intent, they would be evaluated by a third party very differently. But from the perspective of a victim, both of those people are 100% within the right and maybe even have a moral obligation to pull out a gun and shoot the person running towards them. Both people can do that. That's why I'm saying when you keep saying like, well, what about the
just because somebody...
I'm just saying, so when you say like, what about the consequences? Well, from the perspective of the victim, the consequences are going to be the same. They're going to defend themselves. They don't care what the intent is of the aggressor. But from the perspective of a third-party evaluator, obviously they would view the two aggressors differently.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being like too callous here because I'm just thinking like, oh, like I understand the perspective of a victim. I'm very sympathetic to it, but that doesn't give them like a blank check to commit massive violence against like somebody who might be oppressor or not. Like
Why? You're being genocided.
Well, I'm saying, what is it? Well, yeah, like even if you're being genocided, that doesn't give me the right to just like kill other people that I think might have contributed to the genocide. Like that would still be irrational of me.
I blame Canada and I blame their cancerous fucking native talk on this shit. I think that to you, I just don't think you think genocide is a big deal. I think that this is an example of like
genocide is a huge
I don't think
deal.
I don't think so. It's not that big a deal. When
genocide,
I don't think it's a big deal.
No, let me finish, please.
Okay, go ahead.
If I'm a fucking person, if I feel like the United States is like genociding fucking Puerto Ricans, that doesn't give me the right to kill every fucking American I see. Like, holy fuck.
If you were being actually genocided,
doesn't give you. That doesn't give me a blank check to just kill whoever I think might be an oppressor.
But
that's crazy. Like,
I understand.
I might be. I'm being genocided.
I understand.
So I think I can kill everybody from the opposing team. Like, what if they're not in fucking opposing team? What if they just have no fucking clue what's going on?
I understand what you're saying, but in your mind, Donald Trump throwing fucking paper towels at you guys was a genocide. That's what you think a genocide is.
I didn't say that. No.
Yeah, like power was cut off to the island. People might be starving to death, and the government's not doing enough, and there's like a lack of electricity and clean water. Like that's kind of like a genocide. Like, so from your perspective, of course, fighting back in any fucking way seems insane. But that's because in your mind, a genocide is like
fighting back in any way is insane. I don't think fighting back is insane. I'm saying that I don't think it's fair to just write a blank check of violence just because I think somebody might be on the opposing team. Like I don't there's you can obviously say, oh, there's a difference between somebody who's like passing this legislation and who's actively doing it, blah, 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 versus a random like fucking person who just doesn't have access to fucking internet and doesn't know what's going on, for example. Like, just because I think somebody might be an enemy doesn't give me the right to like fucking kill them.
Okay. Well, I disagree. I think that if your group of people is being eliminated from existence, it is the worst crime that you can commit on a group of people. And if another side
It
is even
but that doesn't
even
mean that they're okay to kill everyone who they think might be an enemy, especially if they're wrong.
it's not think
right? What
no
if
no
it's,
hold
like,
on whoa it's not think might be an enemy. It's somebody that's involved with the organization that is genociding them. I think they do have a right to fight back, and in almost whatever way they see fit.
Well, I think there's a difference in like levels of being into an organization, right? Or being part of a structure, right? There's a difference between a random American citizen who lives in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and somebody who's like in Washington, D.C., like passing legislation. Like, these are obviously two very different levels of being involved in like this legislation or action that commits, you know, mass genocide against a group of people. Like, it doesn't make sense to just fucking kill the person who lives in the bumfuck middle of nowhere who might not even know what's fucking going on.
What if the person who lives in the
they're under the United States?
Sure. What if the person in the bumfuck middle of nowhere votes for a guy that says he's going to eliminate Puerto Ricans from existence? He's going to exterminate the rest of the Puerto Rican people. And the guy in bumfuck nowhere is like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll vote for this guy. He seems like a cool dude. It's like part of his platform. I don't care that much about Puerto Ricans.
Like, well, that's where it gets like really fucking complicated.
No, it's not complicated. That's what you just described.
It is. Hey, let me finish. Okay? This is where I'm thinking, okay, if somebody is like, yeah, I want to eliminate you because that's going to stop the genocide against Puerto Ricans, I'd be like, hey, you know what? That is morally like makes sense. Like, you do have that like blank check. But I don't think it follows if somebody else is like, oh, you know, this person is just like really fucking dumb and ignorant and like I don't want to murder them. I want to educate them. I'd be like, hey, you know what? That also fucking makes sense. I don't think it follows that you have to fucking kill them.
When you say I want
because
to...
especially if that person from the dumb fuck of... Sorry, let me just... Last sentence. If that person from the dumb fuck of nowhere, like, you know, ends up disappearing, like, they wouldn't really make an effect on the legislation, no? That's, like, just, like, an individual. So I also feel like that should account for it when it comes to, like, the level of moral responsibility you're gonna, like, assign.
If you're
than a legislator who...
If you're being exterminated, it's not your job to educate the people voting for people exterminating you.
No! I'm disagreeing with you. I agree with that. It's like it's not necessarily your job to like educate those people. What I'm saying is that it doesn't follow to murder them. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, you're not actually being genocided if you don't want to murder this person. That's what I'm trying to convey.
Okay, maybe not like a particular random person, but somebody. Like government officials or like police officials or people that are part of like your local like city administration or whatever. Like at least people involved in government. At least that, no?
Okay, yeah. Like I think we can agree on that. I think we can agree that there is like a level of violence that does make sense. I don't think I disagree with you on that.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
What do you normally? What do you enjoy drinking the most? What do you drink to get prepped for stream, to get hyped up?
I had what the Americans call a rum and coke, but in Puerto Rico they call it Cuba Libre. Do you know what that means?
Something Cuba? I have no idea.
Cuba Libre in English
freedom of Cuba?
Literally. Yeah, Cuba freedom. Which is just a rum and coke, so I don't know why they call it that. I wonder if there's like a history there or some shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
How long are you leaving to New York for? Like, when are you coming back?
It depends on how much I'm gonna fight with Melina over the next few days. I'm either not going at all to punish her and ruin my relationship, or I'll go on the 23rd because I'll stop being grumpy tomorrow. Just depends on my mood, so.
Yeah, don't
And then I'll be back
grumpy.
on like the 27th.
Okay. Well, make up with Melina. Don't fight. Have a wonderful Christmas. Like, do something fun. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun.
Have a fun time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Be careful. Bye. Jesus. Okay, well, To recap, I think that genocide is the worst thing that can ever happen to a group of people. It's at the very, 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 very tip tops of crimes. And I think that that word should be reserved for describing the most extremely fucking insane actions that people do. Throwing it, I blame Canada for trying to redefine genocide as like cultural genocide, for trying to redefine it as like it doesn't. Canada fucked themselves, and parts of the United States, they fucked their brains on what genocide means. I blame Canada for that shit. Hold on. Oh my god, we were locked the fuck in. Holy shit. Let's do one more. It didn't hit the keys twice. I was locked in again and it missed one. Whatever.
The vehicle, but soon lost visual of it.
Bro, sounds like a question mark, dude. In LA, okay, you're in downtown. There's a fucking bro. There's Air One, Marine One, Tank One. Bro, there's fucking atomic bomb 1 and fucking fire system 1 in the middle of the road. Everybody's like,
thank you for creating content.
Nobody gives a shit, dude. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody moves. Nobody does anything.
Last time I saw it, there was heavy front end damage.
What? Nobody does what? I don't even know what is being said here. Lex Twitter hate thread. You have to hand it to Lex Friedman. His grift is not an amateur job. Take his Twitter photo up, professor standing in front of a black with some math, right? The photo is from what he calls his MIT course on deep learning for self-driving cars. Sounds like good stuff. CS, math, self-driving cars, bro heaven. Hashtag bro heaven. So what's the problem? He's standing in front of the blackboard. First of all, that was an MIT IAP class. IAP is a short period in January. Students could take fun classes and various topics from center brain. Blackboard, like standing in front of his basic calculus left over from an actual real MIT calculus class. It's nothing to do with what he's teaching. The stuff he's spending here is a joke. You can listen to some of this rubbish here. Wait, who cares? He is a big name in biology. I doubt he could tell you what the cosine of an angle is. Cosine is... I don't even remember. I remember opposite over hypotenuse. No, adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So cosine is adjacent angle divided by hypotenuse. I don't know what you're dividing. I don't even know what it means. I don't remember at all. I have no idea. I don't know. Sine is the thing that does this, and cosine like starts in the middle, or does it start on the bottom? I don't remember any trig. I don't remember any math at all. I remember addition and subtraction and some multiplication, baby. No division. No, fuck that. That's only for right triangles. Based. Okay. Lex blocked me after I questioned why he interviews only men. Question for Lex Friedman. Why do 25 popular episode guest lists contain only one BIPOC and no women at all? There are even more speakers named Steven. Damn.
Twitter files yesterday, and these also centered on the site's very infamous decision to suppress the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story. The most interesting disclosure this time around was that the FBI actually paid Twitter $3.4 million to process the agency's requests. So in fact, Twitter's official terms of service have a guidance for law enforcement section, which makes clear that Twitter may seek financial recompense if asked to complete burdensome tasks for the government. So anyone who thinks about this for more than a few seconds can easily understand some perverse incentives at play. The government pesters Twitter about suppressing content it doesn't like. Twitter puts in extra work in order to take care of those requests, and then it bills the FBI, and the FBI pays Twitter, by which I mean you pay Twitter, since all federal government money is actually confiscated from the hardworking taxpayers of this wonderful country. That seems bad, doesn't it? The government is taking our money, using it to bribe big tech into censoring us? Certainly feel—
Do you— Okay. What a fucking moron.
Mechanics, so no one's paying attention.
I'm sure that somewhere in this like 8-9 minute video, he's gonna list like some of these insane bribes, right? I'm sure he's gonna have that in here, right? And it's not just gonna be him rambling about how I'm sure there are some bribes, but we just got no leaks of any of that happening anywhere, right? The fuck? Okay, I need to go to sleep.
Surely this is the last
No,
one.
this isn't the mechanics.
Well, we've watched what it does, so we know the mechanics, right?
Speak for yourself. I'm paying attention.
Yeah, then what did the last guy do?
Oh no, Moody!
It's the mechanics. It's the mechanics.
Be teaching you the mechanics, so no one's.
Right. Okay. Fuck me, but I love you guys. Ripper and a cappuccino. Go watch Autistic Destiny. Have fun. Goodbye. Stream tomorrow? Yeah, I should be. I think, as long as until my internet runs out. Rip on. Or maybe I'll go walk around and try to get other internet. Bye.